Hello, I'm so glad you're here in this quiet moment of the night. Find yourself a truly comfortable position. Perhaps you're lying in bed or settling back into a soft chair. You don't need to do anything at all. Just be here, listen, and let everything unfold naturally. Take a deep breath. Breathe in gently, then release it slowly. Feel the cool air touch your skin. The sounds of today are settling down. Your thoughts are slowing, and you're here now in this private space where nothing needs to rush. Tonight we'll travel together, not a hurried journey or a dramatic one, but a slow voyage through the distant spaces of the universe. A science story, but told like a dream, like something you might imagine before drifting into sleep. We're going to talk about something that will never actually happen, a scenario that belongs to imagination, to the interesting mathematical calculations that scientists sometimes ponder. It's the question, what would happen if Uranus, that distant icy planet, somehow rolled through space and collided with our Earth sounds? Frightening, doesn't it? But don't worry, this is just an imaginary story, a game of the mind. Earth is very safe in its orbit, spinning steadily around the sun as it has for billions of years. And Uranus too, rolling alone at the far edge of the solar system, billions of kilometers away from us. So why would we imagine this? Because sometimes stories about the universe help us relax. They take our minds away from daily worries, away from work, away from unanswered messages, away from to-do lists. And they bring us to a vast place where everything moves slowly to the rhythm of planets and stars. Imagine you're lying in a grassy field on a moonless night. The sky stretches above, full of twinkling stars. You can see the Milky Way like a faint river of milk. The air is cool, gentle, and you feel peaceful knowing you're just a small part of this grand picture. Somewhere up there in that sky so far away that human eyes cannot see it, there's a planet the color of turquoise, Uranus, a cold, strange world where winds blow at terrifying speeds, but in absolute silence because there's no one there to hear them. A planet that spins in its own unique way as if it's lying on its side, rolling along its path. In our story tonight, Uranus will begin a journey that cannot be real but beautiful to imagine. It will slowly leave its distant orbit, and in the silence of space, it will start moving toward Earth. A journey stretching across years, decades, through endless voids, and we'll travel with it, without hurry, without worry, just observing, imagining, and letting the wondrous images of the universe lull us to sleep. Because that's what this story is for you, a gift of relaxation, an invitation to let go. So keep breathing gently, let your shoulders sink deeper into the cushion, let your body grow heavy and comfortable. We have so much time. Nothing needs to rush. And in this moment, everything is fine. You are safe. Earth is safe. And we're preparing to step into a dream about the stars. Close your eyes if you wish, or let them gaze softly at some blurry point. And let me take you there to meet Uranus, the icy planet waiting in the darkness. Our story begins here. Let's travel now in your mind to the edge of our solar system, to a place where sunlight arrives weak and pale, barely warming anything at all, to a lonely realm where a giant world spins in near darkness. This is where Uranus lives. Uranus sits so far from us that it's hard to truly grasp the distance. If you could drive a car through space, traveling without stopping, it would take you more than 3,000 years to reach it. The sunlight we see on Earth takes just 8 minutes to arrive from the sun, but that same light needs nearly 3 hours to reach Uranus. 3 hours of travelling at the speed of light, crossing the cold emptiness between worlds. It's the 7th planet from the sun, beyond Mars, beyond the asteroid belt, beyond mighty Jupiter and ringed Saturn, even beyond Neptune in certain years, though their orbits dance around each other slowly. Uranus occupies a quiet corner of space where few spacecraft have ever visited. Only one probe, Voyager 2, has ever flown past it back in 1986, sending us our only close-up photographs. When you look at those images, the first thing you notice is the colour. Uranus glows with the most beautiful shade of blue-green, like a precious gemstone floating in velvet darkness. It's not the deep blue of Earth's oceans or the bright blue of our daytime sky. It's something softer, more ethereal, a turquoise that seems to hold secrets. This gentle colour comes from methane gas in its atmosphere. High above the planet, methane molecules drift through clouds of hydrogen and helium. These methane particles absorb red light from the sun, but they reflect blue and green light back into space. And so Uranus shines with this cool, calming hue. A colour that feels almost peaceful when you imagine it hanging there in the cosmic dark. But Uranus holds a mystery that makes it unlike any other planet we know. While Earth spins upright like a spinning top, and most other planets do the same, Uranus is different. It spins on its side, completely tipped over. If you could stand in space and watch it, you'd see this giant world rolling along its orbital path like a marble rolling across a floor. Scientists believe something incredible must have happened long ago, perhaps billions of years back, when the solar system was young and chaotic. Maybe a massive object as large as Earth crashed into Uranus with tremendous force. That ancient collision knocked the planet onto its side, and it's been spinning that way ever since. Imagine that moment, that cosmic impact in the early darkness, reshaping a world forever. Because of this unusual tilt, Uranus experiences the strangest seasons. Each pole faces the sun for more than 40 years at a time, while the other pole endures 4 decades of continuous darkness. Summer on one side means eternal daylight. Winter means an endless frigid night, a night that stretches longer than an entire human lifetime. Now, let's drift closer in our imagination. What would we find if we could approach this distant world unlike Earth with its solid ground beneath your feet? Uranus has no surface to stand on. It's what scientists call an ice giant. Not because it's covered in ice like a frozen lake, but because deep inside, beneath layers of swirling gas, there are vast oceans of water methane and ammonia compressed under crushing pressure into strange hot forms of ice. The outer atmosphere where we'd first arrive is mostly hydrogen and helium, the lightest gases in the universe. These gases wrap around the planet in thick bands, creating subtle stripes and patterns, though they're harder to see than Jupiter's dramatic storms. Uranus appears calm from a distance, almost serene, but appearances can be deceiving. Deep in that atmosphere, winds race at speeds that would tear apart anything in their path. Winds that blow faster than the most powerful hurricanes on Earth. Yet there's no sound. In the vacuum of space, in the thin upper reaches of the atmosphere, these winds scream in perfect silence. It's a strange thought, isn't it? All that fury, all that motion without a whisper. And then there's the cold. Uranus is the coldest planet in our solar system, even colder than Neptune. which sits farther from the sun. Temperatures in the upper atmosphere plunge to nearly minus 220 degrees Celsius. That's far colder than anywhere on Earth, colder than Antarctica's harshest winter, colder than liquid nitrogen. At those temperatures, gases we breathe would freeze solid instantly. The very air would fall as snow. Why is it so cold? Scientists aren't entirely sure. Unlike the other giant planets, Uranus radiates very little heat from its interior. Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune all glow with warmth left over from their formation, or generated by slow gravitational compression inside them. But Uranus sits there cold and quiet, as if its inner fire went out long ago. Perhaps that ancient collision that tipped it over also disrupted something deep inside, shutting off its internal heat source. Uranus isn't alone in its cold journey. It has rings though, not the spectacular rings of Saturn. These rings are thin, dark, and made of pieces of rock and ice, barely visible even with powerful telescopes. They circle the planet's equator in narrow bands like delicate threads, and it has moons too, 27 of them discovered so far, each named after characters from the works of William Shakespeare and Alexander Pope. Miranda, Ariel, Umbriel, Titania, Oberon, and others all dancing in their orbits around their tilted parent. Imagine floating there among those moons, looking down at Uranus below you. The planet would fill your view with that soft turquoise glow. You'd see subtle bands of clouds, maybe the faint shadows of the rings stretching across its face. The sun would be just a bright star in the distance, giving little warmth. And all around you, the deep black of space, sprinkled with stars that never twinkle in the airless void. This is the world that in our story will somehow begin to move. This frozen giant, this sideways spinner, this quiet wanderer at the edge of our planetary family. It's a world that seems content in its distant solitude, far from the inner bustle of Earth and Mars and Venus, a world that has spun peacefully in its orbit for billions of years. But tonight, in our imagination, something changes. Some impossible force begins to target Uranus, pulling it slowly from its ancient path. And it starts the long, slow journey inward toward the warmth of the inner solar system, toward us. Take another slow breath. Let that image settle in your mind. A blue-green world, cold and strange, beginning to roll through the darkness toward home. We'll follow it on this journey together, step by gentle step, as you drift deeper into rest. Let's talk about distance for a moment. Not the kind of distance you walk to a coffee shop or drive to visit a friend, but the kind of distance that makes you feel small and quiet inside. The kind that stretches across darkness so vast that your mind has to reach to comprehend it. Between Earth and Uranus lies nearly 3 billion kilometers of empty space. 3 billion. It's a number so large that it loses meaning when you just say it aloud. So let's try to feel it instead, to understand it in ways that touch something deeper than mathematics. Imagine you're standing on a beach, looking out at the ocean. You pick up a single grain of sand, so tiny it barely rests on your fingertip. Now imagine that grain of sand represents 1 kilometer, just one. To show the distance to Uranus, you'd need to gather nearly 3 billion grains of sand. You could spend your entire life counting 1 grain per second and you wouldn't finish. The beach itself wouldn't be enough. You'd need many beaches stretching along coastlines, all those grains representing the quiet emptiness between our world and that icy giant. Or think of it this way: if Earth were the size of an apple sitting on a table, Uranus would be a large grapefruit placed nearly 3 kilometers away. You could walk that distance in about half an hour, but in space, where nothing slows you down or speeds you up without effort, where there's no air to push against or ground to walk on that distance, becomes almost eternal. Light itself, the fastest thing in the universe, takes its time crossing this gap. Light races from the sun to Earth in just 8 minutes, warming our mornings, painting our sunsets. But that same light, travelling at 300,000 kilometers per second, needs nearly 2 hours and 40 minutes to reach Uranus. Think about that. By the time sunlight touches Uranus, nearly 3 hours have passed since it left the sun's surface. 3 hours of travelling through the void at impossible speed. If you could somehow send a message to Uranus, maybe a radio signal carrying your voice, it would take those same hours to arrive. And if someone there could respond, their answer would take another 3 hours to return. You'd wait almost 6 hours for a simple conversation. Hello. Long silence. Hello back. The universe teaches patience in ways nothing else can. This distance creates a profound loneliness. Uranus orbits in a region of space where the sun looks like just a bright star, not the warm disk we see from Earth. The light that reaches there is weak cold, barely enough to illuminate the swirling clouds. It's a twilight realm, neither fully lit nor completely dark. A place between where shadows stretch long and soft. From Uranus, if you could stand on one of its moons and look back toward the inner solar system, Earth would be invisible to your naked eye, just lost in the glare of the distant sun, a pale blue dot swallowed by brightness. We would be strangers to each other, two worlds, sharing the same stellar neighborhood, but separated by such emptiness that we might as well be in different universes. No human has ever traveled even a tiny fraction of this distance. The farthest we've gone is to our moon, which sits just 380,000 kilometers away. A pleasant weekend drive compared to the journey to Uranus. The Apollo astronauts, the only people to leave Earth's immediate vicinity, traveled for 3 days to reach the moon. To reach Uranus with current technology would take nearly a decade, perhaps longer. A journey spanning most of a person's youth from childhood to adulthood, just traveling through darkness. Only one spacecraft has ever visited Uranus. Voyager 2, launched in 1977, flew past it in January 1986 after 9 years of travel. 9 years of crossing the solar system, passing Jupiter, passing Saturn, finally arriving at that turquoise world for just a few hours of close observation before continuing into deeper space. That spacecraft is still out there now, far beyond Uranus, heading toward the space between stars, carrying messages from Earth on its golden record. A lonely ambassador in the endless dark. This distance exists for a reason. The solar system is held together by gravity, that invisible force that keeps everything in its place. The sun's gravity reaches out across space like gentle hands, holding each planet in its orbit. But gravity weakens with distance. The farther you are, the lighter that grip becomes. Earth orbits close enough to the sun that we're held firmly, completing our year in just 365 days. But Uranus, so far away, feels only a whisper of that gravitational pull. It takes 84 Earth years to complete a single orbit around the sun, an entire human lifetime for one journey around. And this is why, in reality, Uranus and Earth will never meet. They're locked in their separate orbits, following paths that never cross. It's like two runners on different tracks, one on the inside lane, one on the outside, both running in the same direction, around the same center, but never getting closer. The laws of physics, the mathematics of orbital mechanics, the balance of velocity and gravity keep them apart. It's a cosmic choreography that has repeated for more than 4 billion years and will continue for billions more. For Uranus to leave its orbit and head toward Earth would require something extraordinary, an intervention of impossible magnitude. Perhaps a massive rogue planet wandering in from interstellar space could swing past and gravitationally fling Uranus inward. Or maybe a series of close encounters with Neptune and Saturn, each one stealing a bit of Uranus's orbital energy, gradually pushing it closer and closer to the Sun. But these scenarios exist only in imagination. The solar system is stable, ancient, settled into patterns that change only over timescales longer than we can truly comprehend. So the distance remains 3 billion kilometers of silence, of darkness, of space so empty that you could fit thousands of Earths between here and there, and they'd never touch. It's this distance that protects us, that keeps each world in its proper place. A natural order, beautiful in its stability. But in our story, this distance will slowly close. Not because of reality, but because of wonder. Because sometimes the most peaceful thoughts are the impossible ones, the dreams that can never come true, but are lovely to imagine. And so, in your mind's eye picture, Uranus beginning that long journey across the emptiness, moving toward us like a slow tide coming in. Year after year, kilometer after kilometer, the distance shrinking. Breathe slowly. Feel your body sinking deeper into comfort. The vast distances of space mirror the vastness of rest that's waiting for you. Endless, peaceful, and safe. Before we watch Uranus begin its impossible journey, let's talk gently about the invisible force that holds our solar system together. The force that keeps you grounded on Earth, that keeps the moon circling above us, that binds the planets to the sun. We call it gravity, and it's one of the most beautiful mysteries in nature. Gravity is like an embrace between objects. Every piece of matter in the universe reaches out to every other piece, pulling gently toward itself. You're pulling on Earth right now, and Earth is pulling on you. The sun pulls on every planet, and every planet pulls back. Even you and the person sitting next to you have a tiny gravitational attraction between you, though it's far too weak to notice. It's always there, this invisible connection, weaving everything together. The strength of gravity depends on two things, and both are quite simple. First, the more massive something is, the stronger its gravitational pull. The sun is enormously massive, so its gravity is powerful enough to hold all the planets in their orbits. Earth is much smaller, but still massive enough to keep you from floating away. Second, the farther apart two objects are, the weaker the pull between them becomes. Stand close to someone and you might feel their warmth. Walk away and that warmth fades. Gravity works similarly, growing gentler with distance. This is why the planets stay where they are orbiting the sun in their ancient paths. Each planet is moving sideways through space at just the right speed. If it moves slower, the sun's gravity would pull it inward and it would spiral toward the center. If it moved faster, it would fly away into the darkness beyond. But at exactly the right speed, it falls toward the sun at the same rate that it moves forward, creating a graceful circle or ellipse. It's like a ball on a string, swinging around and around, never flying off, never falling in. Earth has been orbiting this way for more than 4 billion years. Uranus too, all the planets locked in this cosmic dance, each one balanced perfectly between falling and escaping. It's a stability that feels almost eternal. The same sky our ancestors looked up at thousands of years ago is essentially the same sky we see tonight. The planets have barely shifted in their great circles. So for Uranus to leave its orbit and journey toward Earth, something extraordinary would need to happen. Something that could disturb that ancient balance. In our imaginary scenario, perhaps a massive object from beyond the solar system passes nearby. A rogue planet wandering through interstellar space with no star to orbit. Such objects might exist worlds cast out from their home systems, long ago drifting alone through the galaxy. If this rogue planet passed close enough to Uranus, its gravity would tug on the ice giant. Not a collision, but a near miss. Like two ships passing in the night, their wakes affecting each other. This gravitational interaction could steal some of Uranus's orbital energy, slowing it down just enough that it begins to fall inward toward the sun, toward us. The journey would not be quick. Even falling toward the inner solar system, Uranus would take decades to arrive. Perhaps 50 years, perhaps 100, depending on exactly how its orbit changed. This isn't like a ball rolling downhill, speeding up as it goes. In space, without air resistance, objects move according to mathematics so precise and so beautiful that scientists can predict their paths centuries in advance. Astronomers would calculate Uranus's new trajectory using the same equations Isaac Newton discovered centuries ago. They'd measure its position and velocity account for the gravitational pulls of Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and all the other planets. Then they'd run these numbers through computers simulating the future step by step. Days would turn into months, months into years, and slowly the prediction would emerge. Uranus is coming. Here's when it will arrive. Scientists do these kinds of calculations all the time, tracking asteroids and comets, predicting eclipses, planning missions to other worlds. The mathematics of gravity is reliable and old-tested over and over again. When they send a spacecraft to Mars, they know exactly where Mars will be months or years later when the spacecraft arrives. The same precision would tell us when and where Uranus would come. But here's something interesting to imagine. As Uranus fell inward, it would speed up. Gravity pulls harder when you're closer to the sun, and objects naturally accelerate as they fall. The ice giant would begin to move faster than it ever had before, racing through regions of space it had never seen. Past Neptune, past Saturn, past Jupiter's enormous bulk. Each planet's gravity would tug on it as it passed, bending its path, slightly adding complexity to its journey. By the time it reached the inner solar system, Uranus would be traveling much faster than Earth orbits. It would have fallen from the outer darkness into the brighter regions where we live. And eventually, in our story, its path and Earth's path would intersect. Two worlds coming together in space. A meeting scheduled by mathematics, inevitable once set in motion. Of course, this will never happen in reality. The solar system is far too stable, too well balanced. No rogue planet is heading our way. Uranus will continue its slow, cold orbit at the edge of the planetary family for billions of years to come. The night sky will look the same for your children and their children and generations beyond counting. This stability is a gift, a cosmic order that allows life to flourish without interruption. But in imagination, we can explore what cannot be. We can ask the questions and follow them to their gentle conclusions. We can watch as Uranus begins to fall sunward in this dream of ours. Feel yourself relaxing more deeply now as the ice giant starts its long, slow journey through the dark. There's no rush. Time stretches out like the distances between worlds, and you're safe here, listening, drifting, while the universe unfolds its impossible story. The moment arrives so quietly you might not notice it at first. No explosion, no flash of light. Just a subtle shift in Uranus's path, a gentle curve inward where before there was only the familiar circle. The ice giant begins to drift from its ancient orbit, pulled by forces we've imagined into being. And with that first movement, everything in its small corner of the solar system begins to change. Uranus doesn't travel alone out there in the cold darkness. It has a family. 27 moons discovered so far, each one a small world with its own story. They have beautiful names. Miranda with its bizarre patchwork surface of cliffs and valleys. Ariel scarred by ancient flows of ice. Umbriel dark and mysterious. Titania and Oberon, the largest, too substantial enough to be almost spherical. And many smaller ones, irregular chunks of rock and ice, barely more than captured asteroids. These moons have orbited Uranus for billions of years, held close by the planet's gravity. They circle their parent world the way the moon circles Earth in a delicate dance that's remained unchanged since the solar system was young. But now, as Uranus begins to move, that dance becomes uncertain. At first, the moons continue as before. They're still bound to Uranus, still caught in its gravitational embrace. Where Uranus goes, they follow like children, holding onto a parent's hand. But the journey inward disturbs them. As Uranus picks up speed, falling toward the sun, the moons feel tidal forces they've never experienced before. These forces stretch and squeeze them gently, creating stresses in their icy bodies. Some of the smaller, more distant moons might lose their grip entirely. Gravity weakens with distance, and these tiny worlds already barely held by Uranus could slip away during the journey. They'd become orphans, lone wanderers, drifting through the outer solar system with no planet to call home. Imagine them tumbling slowly through space, catching the faint sunlight on their surfaces, silent and alone. It's a melancholy thought, but there's something peaceful about it too. Freedom in the vastness. The rings of Uranus. Those thin dark bands that circle its equator also feel the change. They're made of countless small particles, each one orbiting Uranus like a tiny moon. Pieces of ice and rock, some as small as dust grains, some as large as houses, all travelling together in narrow paths. These rings are fragile, held together by a precise balance between Uranus's gravity and their own momentum. As Uranus begins its journey, the rings shimmer and shift. Some particles might drift outward, escaping into space. Others could spiral inward, eventually raining down into Uranus's atmosphere like slow, silent snow. Over the years of the journey, the rings might fade, becoming thinner and more ghostly. By the time Uranus reaches the inner solar system, they might be nearly invisible, just whispers of what they once were. Neptune, the other ice giant, orbits nearby in cosmic terms. It's Uranus's closest planetary neighbour, another blue world in the outer darkness. Neptune has watched Uranus roll along its sideways orbit For eons, the two of them sharing this cold frontier. But now, Neptune sees something strange. Its sibling planet is leaving. Neptune's gravity reaches out, trying to pull Uranus back. But the pull is too weak across the distances between them, and Uranus continues inward. Neptune remains where it is alone now, in a way it's never been before. The outer solar system suddenly feels emptier. Where there were two ice giants keeping each other company across the void, now there's only one. Behind Uranus, as it journeys sunward, it leaves a gap in space. Not a physical hole, of course. Space doesn't work that way. But an emptiness in the pattern of orbits. For billions of years there was a planet here following this path around the sun. Now that path is vacant. The sunlight that used to reflect off Uranus's turquoise clouds now shines on nothing but darkness. This empty orbit becomes a kind of memorial, a trace of where Uranus used to be. If you could see the solar system from above, mapped out like a diagram, you'd notice the absence. 7 planets now, instead of 8, in their traditional places. A break in the sequence. Future astronomers, if they existed in this imaginary scenario, would study that empty space and wonder about the planet that used to occupy it. The journey has only just begun. Uranus is still far from Earth, still in the outer reaches of the solar system. Years will pass, then decades. It moves slowly at first, but gravity constantly pulls, constantly accelerates. Each day, it travels a little faster than the day before. Each year, it covers more distance than the previous year. It's falling in the way that planets fall along curves of space-time that Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein taught us to understand. During these early years, if you stood on Earth and looked up with a telescope, you might notice something odd. Uranus, usually so predictable in its position among the stars, would begin to move differently. Its slow crawl across the sky would change direction. Astronomers would check their calculations, confused at first, then gradually understanding. The planet is coming inward, coming toward us. But there's still so much time, so much distance left to cross. Uranus passes through the realm between Neptune and Saturn, through cold space where no planets dwell. It rolls onward through the dark, its sideways spin unchanging, its faint rings glittering weakly in the distant sunlight. A giant on a journey, moving through the night with patient inevitability. Breathe slowly with me. Feel your body resting, supported completely. Like Uranus in its long fall, you too are traveling into deeper rest, into quieter thoughts. Let yourself drift alongside this ice giant as it begins its voyage. There's no where you need to be, nothing you need to do. Just float here in the story, in the peace, in the gentle darkness. Decades pass in our story, and Uranus continues its long fall toward the inner warmth. The ice giant has been traveling for so many years now, slowly leaving behind the twilight realm where it was born. And ahead, glowing softly in the darkness, it approaches the territory of the other giant planets. First Saturn, then mighty Jupiter, each one a world unto itself, surrounded by moons and mysteries. Saturn appears gradually in Uranus's path, growing from a point of light to a golden sphere. Even from a distance, you could see what makes Saturn so breathtaking. Its rings, those vast bands of ice and rock, stretch out impossibly wide. They're the most magnificent structure in the solar system, thin as paper relative to their width, yet spanning a distance wider than the gap between Earth and Moon. They catch the sunlight, and glow like a halo around the planet's soft yellow clouds. As Uranus passes through this region, Saturn's gravity reaches out. It's a gentle tug compared to the Sun's pull, but it's there. Saturn tries to bend Uranus's path, to curve it slightly, the way a larger ship's wake might nudge a smaller boat. The two giants don't come close enough for any dramatic interaction. They pass like ships in the night of space, acknowledging each other through gravity alone. Saturn's moons, dozens of them, orbit peacefully, as they always have. Titan the largest wrapped in its orange haze, Enceladus spraying geysers of ice into space. They watch this visiting planet drift past and continue inward. The space between Saturn and Jupiter is vast and quiet. Uranus rolls through this emptiness for more years, picking up speed as the Sun's gravity grows stronger. The sunlight here is brighter than Uranus has ever known. Not bright like Earth experiences, but noticeably warmer than the frozen edge where it came from. If Uranus could feel, it might sense something like hope, like approaching a hearth after years in the cold. Then Jupiter appears ahead, and everything changes in scale. Jupiter is enormous, more than 11 times wider than Earth. It's so massive that it almost became a star itself when the solar system formed, but fell just short of having enough mass to ignite nuclear fusion in its core. Instead, it became the king of planets, a world of swirling storms and bands of clouds in orange, brown, white, and red. The Great Red Spot, that ancient storm larger than Earth, spins slowly in Jupiter's southern hemisphere, a hurricane that's raged for centuries. Jupiter's gravity is powerful, far stronger than Saturn's. As Uranus approaches it, feels it pull intensely. Jupiter doesn't just nudge Uranus's path, it yanks on it, bending the trajectory significantly. Imagine two dancers, one much larger, and as the smaller one passes, the larger catches her hand and spins her around before letting go. That's what Jupiter does to Uranus. The ice giant's path curves sharply, and its speed increases noticeably. Jupiter steals some of its own orbital energy and gives it to Uranus, flinging the smaller planet inward faster than before. This gravitational slingshot is real physics that spacecraft use to travel through the solar system. Voyager 2 used Jupiter's gravity this way, gaining speed to reach Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Now in our story, Uranus experiences the same acceleration. It emerges from the encounter, moving faster, falling harder toward the Sun and Earth. Between Jupiter and Mars lies another realm entirely. The asteroid belt, a band of space filled with thousands upon thousands of rocky chunks left over from the solar system's formation. These aren't densely packed like in movies. Space is so vast that you could fly through the asteroid belt and likely never see one with your naked eye. But they're there, tumbling slowly in their orbits. Some as small as pebbles, others as large as mountains, or even small moons. Uranus drifts through this rocky realm like a whale swimming through a school of fish. The asteroids are tiny compared to the ice giant. Most would simply bounce off if they happen to collide or be vaporized by the impact. A few might be captured by Uranus's gravity, becoming new moons for the journey. Others might be flung away, their orbits changed forever by the passing giant. It's a gentle disturbance, like wind through leaves. All along this journey, the view changes. When Uranus left its distant orbit, the Sun was barely more than a bright star. Now, it grows into a disk small but definite. The light strengthens day by day, year by year. Uranus's clouds, so cold and still in the outer darkness, begin to warm slightly. Not enough to melt the ice or change the planet fundamentally, but enough to stir the atmosphere. Winds might pick up. Storms that lay dormant for eons might begin to form. The planet is waking from its ancient cold sleep. The stars too shift their positions. From Earth we see constellations that have looked the same throughout human history. But Uranus, moving so far and so fast in our story, sees the stars slide across the sky. Constellations deform and change. The familiar patterns shift into new arrangements. It's like watching the universe from a moving train, seeing how perspective alters everything. By now, Uranus has crossed most of the solar system. The outer darkness lies far behind. Neptune is a memory, a blue dot in the distance. Saturn and Jupiter recede, growing smaller in the rear view. Ahead, the inner planets await. Mars, Earth, Venus, Mercury, warm worlds, rocky worlds where the sun shines bright and close. Uranus has never been to such places. But it's going now, falling faster, rolling sideways through space, approaching the heart of the solar system where we wait. Let your breathing slow to match the patient rhythm of this journey. Decades passing like breaths. Vast distances crossed in what feels like moments when you step back and see the whole. Your body is heavy now, comfortable, sinking deeper into rest. Like Uranus sinking deeper into the sun's gravity well. Both journeys peaceful, inevitable, and safe in their own way. Keep drifting with me. Imagine a quiet evening somewhere on Earth. An astronomer sits at their telescope as they have countless nights before mapping the positions of planets and stars. The work is peaceful, methodical, recording coordinates, taking photographs, watching the slow dance of celestial objects across the black velvet sky. They know where everything should be. The planets follow their predictable paths, moving against the background of stars like clockwork. But tonight, something is different. A faint point of light appears where no planet should be. At first, the astronomer thinks perhaps it's a distant comet, or maybe an asteroid catching the sunlight. They check their star charts, their computer predictions. Nothing matches. The light is wrong. Too steady to be a comet, too bright to be a normal asteroid. And it's moving very slowly, but definitely moving. Over the following weeks, other astronomers notice it too. Telescopes around the world turn toward this mysterious object. Observations are compared, calculations made, and slowly and possibly, the truth emerges. It's Uranus. But Uranus shouldn't be there. It should be far away in its distant orbit, barely visible, even through powerful instruments. Yet here it is, growing brighter night by night, coming closer. At first, only those who watch the sky professionally know about it. The news spreads quietly through observatories and universities. Equations are checked and rechecked. Everyone wants to be sure before announcing something so strange, so unprecedented. But as months pass, the evidence becomes undeniable. Uranus has left its orbit. It's falling toward the inner solar system, toward Earth. The months turn into a year, then 2 years, and gradually Uranus grows from a faint telescopic object into something more. It brightens steadily, like a lamp being carried closer through a dark room. Astronomers track its approach with a mixture of scientific fascination and quiet wonder. They've never seen anything like this. No one in human history has watched a planet change its position so dramatically. Eventually, people who aren't astronomers begin to notice. Someone looking up at the night sky with ordinary eyes perhaps trying to spot Mars or Jupiter, as they often do, sees something new. A bluish-green star that wasn't there before. Brighter than most stars with a strange, steady glow. At first, they might think it's Venus, which often shines brilliantly in the evening or morning sky. But Venus appears white or golden. This new light is definitely blue-green, like a turquoise gemstone set among diamonds. News spreads differently now. Social media lights up with questions. What is that blue light in the sky? Astronomy websites publish guides to help people find it. It becomes a conversation at dinner tables, in coffee shops, between friends. Children ask their parents about the new star, and parents looking up feel a strange mixture of curiosity and something deeper. A sense that the sky, which has always been so constant, is changing. As more months pass, Uranus continues to brighten and grow. Now you don't need dark countryside skies to see it. Even from cities with their light pollution washing out fainter stars, Uranus shines through clearly. It's no longer a point, like stars are, but shows a visible disk if you look carefully. A tiny circle of soft blue-green light. Through binoculars, it's unmistakable. A little world getting less little every week. People develop routines around watching it. They step outside after dinner to check on its progress. They show visitors. Look there, do you see it? That blue light, that's Uranus. It's coming closer. The conversations are hushed, respectful. There's no panic in our story, no fear, just a collective awareness that something extraordinary is unfolding in slow motion across the sky. By now, Uranus has grown large enough that it begins to affect how people experience the night. The moon still dominates, of course, our familiar companion, waxing and waning through its monthly cycle. But now, there's something else. Another presence in the darkness. When the moon is new and the sky is truly dark, Uranus provides its own gentle illumination. Not enough to cast shadows like the moon does, but enough that you notice it. A subtle blue-green glow washing over the landscape, mixing with starlight. Photographers start capturing this new sky. Time-lapse videos show Uranus rising in the east, arcing across the heavens, setting in the west. But unlike stars that appear to move because Earth is rotating, Uranus also moves against the stars themselves, shifting its position night by night, week by week. It's both rising and approaching a double motion that creates patterns never seen before. Artists paint it. Writers mention it in their stories. Musicians compose pieces inspired by that steady blue-green light. It enters culture the way the moon has always been part of human culture. Children growing up during this time will remember it. The nights when there were two bright objects in the sky, the familiar moon white and changing, and the approaching visitor blue-green and growing patient and inevitable. Some nights when the moon and Uranus are both visible, they create something hauntingly beautiful. The moon's cool white light and Uranus's turquoise glow blend across the landscape. Shadows have unusual colours. The world feels dreamlike, as if reality has softened slightly. People stand in their gardens, on their balconies, in parks, just looking up. Not at their phones, not at screens, but at the actual sky. Watching this slow cosmic event unfold, and through it all, life continues. People go to work, children go to school, seasons change, but always in the background, the blue-green light grows stronger. A reminder that we live in a universe far larger and stranger than our daily routines suggest. A gentle cosmic visitor rolling through space, coming to call. Your eyelids are heavy now, perhaps, your thoughts drifting like clouds. The image of that blue-green light in a dark sky is peaceful, isn't it? Soft and distant and calm. Let it fill your mind as you sink deeper into rest, like watching a gentle lantern approaching through evening air. No hurry, no alarm, just presence and beauty and the quiet passage of time. At first, the changes are so subtle that only instruments can detect them. Uranus is still millions of kilometers away, but its gravity reaches across that distance, like invisible fingers beginning to touch Earth. Gravity never stops, never rests. It extends infinitely outward from every object, growing weaker with distance, but never quite disappearing. And now with Uranus, so much closer than it's ever been, that touch becomes noticeable. Scientists monitoring Earth's orbit notice the first signs. Our planet's path around the Sun, normally so precise and predictable, develops tiny wobbles. Nothing dramatic, nothing that would change the length of our year or the rhythm of seasons. Just small deviations, gentle curves, where there should be perfect smoothness. Like a ball rolling on a table that's almost level, but not quite. Earth is still orbiting the Sun, still held firmly by that massive gravitational embrace. But now, there's a second pull, competing for attention. The oceans feel it next. Water is sensitive to gravity in ways solid ground is not. Every day, the moon's gravity pulls on Earth's oceans, creating tides that rise and fall along coastlines around the world. High tide when the moon is overhead, low tide when it's on the horizon. This rhythm has repeated for billions of years, reliable as breathing. But now, something else is pulling too. The tides begin to behave strangely. Not wildly, not dangerously, but differently. High tides rise a bit higher than expected on certain days. Low tides drop a bit lower. The timing shifts slightly, arriving earlier or later than the tide tables predict. Fishermen notice it first, those who live by the rhythm of the sea. They've learned to read the water's moods over lifetimes, and they can tell something has changed. The ocean feels restless, as if stirred by a dream. Coastal cities see it in their harbours. Venice, always sensitive to tides, experiences aqua alta at unusual times. The Thames in London swells unpredictably. In places where the sea meets the land, where humans have built their lives around understanding the water's movements, there's a sense of adjustment. Nothing catastrophic, just a reminder that the ocean answers to forces beyond our control. It's answering to two moons now in a way. The familiar moon and the distant blue-green visitor. Earth's rotation, that steady spin that gives us day and night, also responds to Uranus's gravity. The effect is incredibly small, perhaps lengthening each day by a fraction of a second. You wouldn't notice it in your daily life. Your alarm clock would still ring at the same time sunrise would still come when expected. But atomic clocks precise beyond imagination detect the change. Time itself is being pulled slightly by the approaching giant, the moon. Our oldest companion feels Uranus's gravity too. For billions of years, the moon has orbited Earth in a slow, stable dance. It moves away from us gradually, just a few centimeters per year, but its path is predictable. Now that path wavers slightly, the moon's orbit develops small irregularities. Sometimes it's a bit closer to Earth than calculations suggest it should be. Other times, a bit farther away. These changes are tiny, but they're real. Astronomers tracking the moon's position Notice these wobbles and understand their meaning. Uranus is pulling on the moon just as it's pulling on Earth. The moon, caught between two gravitational influences, shifts its dance slightly. It still rises and sets, still shows us its phases, still glows in the night sky. But its precise position against the stars becomes harder to predict. There's a third partner in this cosmic dance, now changing the choreography. People don't feel these changes in gravity directly. You still weigh the same when you step on a scale. Objects still fall at the same speed when you drop them. Gravity from Uranus, even at this closer distance, is far too weak compared to Earth's own gravity to change your daily experience. But there are subtle signs if you know where to look, if you're paying attention to the world's quieter rhythms. Birds migrating long distances, which use magnetic fields and star positions to navigate, seem occasionally confused. Some flocks circle before finding their direction. Animals sensitive to environmental changes, creatures that live through earthquakes or storms, act restless on certain nights. Dogs bark at nothing visible. Cats stare at the sky longer than usual. They sense what instruments measure that the world's gravitational landscape is shifting. The sky itself holds clues beyond the obvious blue-green light. Auroras, those shimmering curtains of colour that dance near Earth's poles, become slightly more active. Earth's magnetic field, generated by currents of molten metal deep in our core, interacts in complex ways with the stream of particles from the Sun. Now, Uranus's magnetic field, carried on the solar wind, adds its own influence. The auroras ripple with new patterns. Greens and reds and purples swirl in combinations observers haven't seen before. At night, if you're very still and very quiet, the world feels different. Not frightening, but changed. The air seems to hold a subtle tension, like the atmosphere before a summer storm, but gentler, more patient. The stars twinkle as they always have, but their light seems to carry across space that's slightly warped by the presence of this approaching giant. It's like the universe is holding its breath. Through all of this, life continues its rhythms. Morning comes, people wake. Day passes with its tasks and concerns. Evening arrives, darkness falls. But there's an awareness now, a collective sensing that we're not quite alone in a corner of space the way we used to be. Something massive is approaching, changing the very shape of the gravitational fields we swim through like fish in water. Most people can't articulate what feels different, but they feel it nonetheless. A presence growing stronger. Let yourself feel that gentle pull in your imagination. Like gravity working on you now, as you rest, pulling you deeper into the surface you're lying on. Your body grows heavier, more relaxed. Uranus's gravity in our story pulls on Earth just as sleep pulls on you. Inevitable patient, growing stronger. Let it take you. Let yourself sink into that pull, into that deep gravitational rest. Everything is shifting slowly, safely, toward what comes next. The last month arrives, and the sky transforms into something no human has ever witnessed. Uranus has grown so large now that it no longer looks like a distant object. It dominates the heavens, a vast turquoise sphere that fills nearly half the sky from horizon to horizon. During the day, you can see it even through the blue atmosphere, a pale green disk hanging there like an impossible second sun, though it gives no warmth, only reflected light. But it's at night when the true majesty reveals itself. As darkness falls and the sun sinks below the western horizon, Uranus rises in the east, like a dream made visible. That soft blue-green glow washes across the entire world, bathing everything in colours Earth has never known. Buildings, trees, mountains, oceans, all touched by this ethereal light. It's bright enough to read, but bright enough to see faces clearly. The night is no longer truly dark. You can see details on Uranus' surface now, even without telescopes. The bands of clouds, subtle variations in colour, from pale blue to deeper turquoise. The faint dark rings barely visible, like delicate threads across its equator. If you watch carefully, you can see the planet rotating that strange sideways spin, rolling slowly through space. Features drift across its face over hours. It's mesmerizing, hypnotic. People stand outside for long stretches, necks tilted back, simply watching. The moon still appears in the sky during its cycle, but it looks small and humble now beside this giant visitor. When both are visible together, they create an otherworldly scene. The moon's familiar silver mixed with Uranus's turquoise painting the world in shades never seen in nature. Shadows fall in two directions, one from each light source. It's disorienting and beautiful. Children born in this final month will never know a sky with only one moon, only ordinary darkness. Earth's atmosphere begins to feel different. The air itself seems to strain upward, pulled by Uranus's growing gravitational influence. Atmospheric pressure drops slightly. Not enough to harm anyone, but enough to notice. Breathing feels easier, lighter. Some people experience a mild euphoria, like the sensation of being at high altitude. The sky appears clearer than usual, deeper blue during the day, because the atmosphere is stretching thin, reaching toward the approaching giant. Clouds behave strangely. They form at higher altitudes than normal, pulled upward by the competing gravities. Sunsets become even more spectacular, with light scattering through these elevated clouds in ways that create colours of unusual intensity. Oranges and pinks and purples that seem almost artificial. Photographers work frantically to capture these final skies, knowing they'll never see such things again. Animals sense what's coming with an instinct humans can barely imagine. Birds that usually fly south for winter instead circle restlessly, unable to decide on direction when the world's gravitational map has changed so drastically. Whales breach more frequently, as if confused by how the water feels around them. Elephants in Africa stand motionless trunks, raised sensing vibrations in the earth and air. Dogs refuse to settle, pacing through homes. Cats disappear into hiding places, eyes wide. The oceans rise, not all at once, not in a catastrophic flood, but steadily, powerfully. Tides reach heights never recorded in human history. Coastal cities watch water creep up their streets during high tide, then retreat, then return higher still. The Mediterranean swells, the Pacific heaves, the Atlantic rolls with waves that seem to come from nowhere. Beaches disappear under water that reflects blue-green light from above, creating the illusion of glowing seas. Ships at sea report strange sensations. The water feels different beneath their hulls. Waves form in unusual patterns. Some sailors describe a feeling of the ocean breathing, rising and falling with Uranus's gravitational pull as much as the moon's. Those who've spent their lives reading the sea's moods say it feels alive in a new way, restless and aware. Gravity itself becomes noticeably weaker on Earth's surface. Objects feel lighter when you lift them. Your own body feels less heavy. It's as if Earth's hold on everything has loosened slightly. Children jump higher than they could before, delighted by the change. Walking feels like gliding. Some people experience vertigo from this lightness, their inner ears confused by the altered gravitational field. Others find it peaceful, like being partially underwater, moving with less effort than usual. Scientists measure everything frantically: gravitational readings, atmospheric pressure, tidal patterns, Earth's rotation rate. The data flows in, continuously painting a picture of two worlds approaching their impossible meeting. Calculations show days remaining, then hours. Everyone knows approximately when it will happen. The numbers have been shared, discussed, imagined. But knowing doesn't make it feel more real. In this final month, people gather, not in panic or fear, but in community. Families come together. Friends meet more often. Strangers talk to each other on streets and parks under that vast turquoise sky. There's a sense of shared experience, of living through something unique. Conversations are quieter, more thoughtful. People laugh more easily, hug more readily. The approaching collision creates a strange peace, a collective acceptance. At night, lying in bed, you can feel it, a sensation of floating, of being lifted gently. Uranus's gravity tugging at you through Earth's pull. Your body lighter than it's ever been. Some people sleep more deeply than usual, lulled by this cosmic rocking. Others lie awake, watching that blue-green light pour through windows, creating patterns on walls and ceilings. Time feels slower, each moment stretched thin like the atmosphere. The world glows. That's the simplest way to describe it. Everything touched by Uranus's reflected sunlight seems to shine from within. Water sparkles, windows gleam, even darkness has light in it. The nights are dreams where you're still awake. Days feel like mornings that never quite brighten to noon. Reality has softened at its edges, become something more fluid. Breathe into that softness now. Feel yourself floating as the people in our story float weightless and safe. The turquoise light fills your mind like it fills their sky. You're drifting in that glow, suspended between Earth and that approaching giant. Nothing to fear, nothing to grasp. Just this gentle lifting, this slow rise into peace. Let the blue-green wash over you, through you. Let yourself become light, become the color of dreams, become the space between worlds where everything is quiet and nothing hurts, and time dissolves into now. In the last hours, there is no more horizon. Uranus fills everything above a dome of blue-green that stretches from edge to edge of the world. If you stand outside and look up, you cannot see where the planet ends. It is the sky itself, now all of it wrapped around Earth like an embrace. The clouds of Uranus, pale and swirling, move slowly overhead. You are looking up at another world's weather, at storms larger than continents drifting in silence. The light is extraordinary. Not bright like sunlight, but pervasive, soft, coming from everywhere at once. The entire sky glows with that turquoise luminescence, and it reflects off every surface. Water becomes mirrors of green-blue. Glass buildings shine like they're lit from within. Even shadows have color now, filled with the reflected glow. The world has become a dream, painted in shades of ocean and sky mixed together. There is no true darkness anymore, and no true day. The sun still rises and sets somewhere behind Uranus, but its light filters through the ice giant's atmosphere, transformed. Morning comes as a brightening of the blue-green, a shift from deeper turquoise to paler aquamarine. Evening is a deepening back into richer blues, but always, that otherworldly glow remains. Time feels irrelevant. Hours blend into one continuous moment of strange, peaceful radiance. Gravity has weakened dramatically now. You can feel it in every movement. Lifting your arm takes almost no effort. Walking becomes a series of gentle bounds, each step carrying you farther than it should. If you jump, you rise slowly. Hang in the air for a heartbeat longer than possible, then descend with dreamlike gentleness. It's like moving underwater, but in air. Like the world has decided that weight is optional. Objects drift if not secured. Leaves that fall from trees don't fall so much as float downward in lazy spirals. Dust hangs suspended. Water poured from a cup streams out in slow wobbling spheres rather than a quick arc. Physics has become softer, more forgiving. Children laugh with delight, jumping and soaring. Adults move with careful grace, adjusting to this new lightness. Everything and everyone is becoming untethered. The oceans have risen enormously. Coastlines have vanished beneath water, pulled upward by Uranus's immense gravity. The seas bulge toward the approaching planet mountains of water, reaching upward as if trying to touch that turquoise sky. Waves as tall as buildings roll across the deep oceans, not crashing, but rising and falling in slow, majestic rhythms. The water glows with reflected light, blue-green peaks and valleys stretching to every horizon. Coastal cities have been abandoned gently over the previous days, people moving inland to higher ground. Now those cities stand partially submerged, water flowing through streets, filling ground floors. But there's no violence in it. The water moves slowly, almost tenderly. Buildings stand as islands, their upper floors still dry. It's more like the world is being flooded by light and water together a baptism in turquoise. The wind begins to rise, not immediately as a storm, but building gradually like a breath being drawn in. Air from Earth's atmosphere is being pulled upward toward Uranus, responding to the ice giant's gravity. It starts as a gentle breeze, pleasant and warm, then strengthens into steady wind, then grows stronger still. Trees bend their leaves, streaming toward the sky. Grass lies flat, pointing upward. The wind doesn't gust or swirl. It simply blows steadily up toward that vast presence overhead. This wind carries with it a sound, a low, continuous tone, like the world is humming. It's not unpleasant, more like a note held by a choir so large you can't distinguish individual voices, just the resonance. The atmosphere vibrating as it stretched between two worlds. Some describe it as peaceful, like white noise that helps you sleep. Others say it sounds like the earth is singing its last song. But there's no fear in the sound, only wonder. Birds that remained now ride these updrafts, spiraling higher and higher without flapping their wings. They're lifted by the wind, carried toward the turquoise sky. From the ground, they look like dark specks against the glowing clouds of Uranus, rising until they disappear from view. It's beautiful and melancholy. The sky is calling everything toward itself. People have stopped doing normal things. There's no more work, no more schedules. Everyone is outside or at windows watching. Some hold hands, some embrace, some stand alone quietly observing. There's a collective calmness, a sense that struggling would be pointless and unnecessary. This is happening. This impossible, beautiful, terrible thing is happening. And all that remains is to witness it. The blue-green light seems to intensify, or perhaps it's just that your eyes have adjusted completely. You can see every detail of Uranus's atmosphere now. layers of clouds at different altitudes moving at different speeds, darker bands and lighter zones, small storms spinning slowly, the rings, those thin dark lines across the turquoise, more visible now than ever. You're not looking at a planet in the sky. You're beneath a planet looking up at its underside as it descends. In these final moments, time becomes elastic. Seconds feel like minutes. Minutes feel timeless. There's no rushing, no urgency. Just this prolonged present, this stretched out now, where you exist in the blue-green glow, with your feet barely touching the ground. Everything is rising. The water, the air, the earth itself seems to want to lift. And you, lighter than you've ever been, feel yourself becoming part of this upward motion. Some people close their eyes. Others keep them open, not wanting to miss anything. Children ask questions in soft voices. Adults answer quietly or stay silent. There are no words adequate for this. Language wasn't made for moments when the sky becomes a world and your world reaches toward it. So there's mostly quiet, the hum of the wind, the distant sound of water, and underneath it all, a profound peace. This is the end of Earth as it was, but it doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like a transformation, like becoming something new. The light holds you gently. The reduced gravity cradles you. The blue-green fills your vision completely until there's nothing else. No past, no future. Just this radiant present, this moment between moments where everything is color and light and soft suspension. Let yourself rest in that light now. Let the turquoise fill you completely inside and out. Your body is weightless, supported by nothing and everything. You're floating in the glow, rising slowly, safely into peace. There's no fear here, only beauty, only the gentle dissolution of boundaries. You are the light. You are the floating. You are safe in this blue-green dream that has no end, only deepening into rest. The moment of first contact is softer than you might imagine. There's no crash, no sudden impact. Instead, it begins like two clouds meeting in slow motion. The outer edges of Earth's atmosphere, thin wisps of gas reaching hundreds of kilometers above the surface, touch the outermost layers of Uranus's vast atmospheric envelope. For a moment, nothing seems to change. Then everything begins to blend. You can see it happening if you look carefully at the turquoise sky above. Subtle changes in color, like watercolors bleeding into each other on wet paper. Earth's atmosphere, with its nitrogen and oxygen, starts to mix with Uranus's hydrogen and helium. The boundary between the two worlds blurs. There's no clear line anymore between where Earth ends and Uranus begins. Just a gradual transition, a soft merging of two different airs into something new. The wind that had been blowing upward grows stronger but remains steady. It's not violent, more like a river's current, constant and powerful, but flowing smoothly. Air molecules from Earth stream upward into Uranus's atmosphere, while gases from Uranus slowly descend. The mixing creates patterns in the sky, swirls and eddies of color. Lighter blues where Earth's air mingles with Uranus's clouds. Deeper turquoise where Uranus's atmosphere remains pure. It's mesmerizing to watch, like looking at the ocean from underwater as different currents meet. Earth begins its descent into Uranus. Not falling quickly, but sinking gradually, the way a stone sinks through honey instead of water. Slow, inevitable, gentle. The planet enters the upper reaches of Uranus's atmosphere regions, so thin they're barely more than vacuum. But thin becomes less thin. Vacuum becomes wisps of gas, and those wisps grow gradually denser. The air pressure around you begins to increase. At first, it's barely noticeable, like descending a small hill. Your ears might pop gently, but then it continues slowly, persistently. The pressure keeps building as Earth sinks deeper into Uranus's atmospheric layers. It's not crushing or painful, just a steady increase. Like diving underwater, feeling the weight of water pressing in from all sides. But this is air gas becoming denser and denser around you. Breathing feels different. The air is still breathable for now, still mostly Earth's familiar mixture. But you can taste something new in it, a slight sweetness maybe, or a metallic tang. The addition of gases from Uranus' foreign molecules mixed with the ones your lungs know. Each breath is an exploration, a sampling of atmosphere that's part home, part alien world. It's strange but not unpleasant, just different. The blue-green intensifies to a level beyond description. Every direction you look, every surface you see, is saturated with colour. The world has become uniformly turquoise, as if you're wearing tinted glasses you can't remove. Except, this isn't filtered light. This is reality, now surrounded completely by Uranus's vast gaseous body. The methane in its atmosphere scatters light in only these wavelengths, and there's so much atmosphere around Earth now that no other colours can penetrate. Blue and green and blue in every shade from pale aquamarine to deep teal. Sound changes too. The increasing density of air around Earth alters how sound waves travel. Voices sound slightly deeper, richer. The constant hum of the wind becomes a deeper drone. It's like the world has dropped an octave, all frequencies shifted down into lower, more resonant tones. Some people find it soothing, like listening to a bass note held endlessly. Others feel it in their chests, a vibration that matches their heartbeat. Temperature begins to fall. Uranus's atmosphere is unimaginably cold, and as Earth sinks deeper, that cold starts to seep through. At first it's pleasant, like the first cool breeze of autumn after a hot summer. Refreshing, invigorating. People who were warm in the strange light feel relief. But the cooling continues. What was pleasant becomes chilly. Light clothes no longer feel adequate. Breath begins to fog in the air, visible now against the blue-green glow. The cold comes from above, and all sides surrounding Earth evenly. There are no cold spots or warm spots, no wind, chill or shelter. Just a uniform cooling, as the entire planet is immersed in gases that have never known warmth. Frost begins to form on surfaces, delicate crystals appearing on leaves, on grass, on buildings. Everything sparkles in the turquoise light, covered in a thin layer of ice that grows thicker moment by moment. Water in the air begins to crystallize. The moisture that Earth's atmosphere always carries starts to freeze, creating tiny ice particles suspended everywhere. They drift slowly in the dense air, catching the blue-green light, making everything seem to shimmer. It's like being inside a snow globe, but the snow doesn't fall. It just hangs there, glittering countless microscopic diamonds floating in the thickening atmosphere. This is what it feels like to sink into a gas giant, like descending through layers of an infinite ocean made of air instead of water. Each layer denser than the one above, each one colder, each one more saturated with that otherworldly blue-green light. You can almost feel yourself being cradled by the increasing pressure, supported from all directions equally. The dense gas becomes almost like a cushion, something you could almost rest on. Your sense of up and down becomes confused. With gravity weakened and pressure equalizing around you, there's less certainty about direction. The ground beneath your feet still exists, still feels solid, but the air has become so thick that it almost has substance too. You're not quite floating, not quite standing, somewhere between, suspended in medium between gas and liquid, neither quite here nor quite there. The boundaries of things soften in this thick, cold, glowing air. Edges blur. Distances become hard to judge. Is that building close or far? Is that person near or distant? The blue-green uniformity makes depth perception difficult. Everything exists in the same saturated color space, making the world feel both infinite and intimate at once. You could be in a small room or a vast cavern. There's no way to tell. Some describe a sense of peace in this moment. The pressure, the cold, the monochrome beauty, all of it combining to create a strange tranquility, like being held, compressed gently but firmly into stillness. Others feel a melancholy sweetness, understanding that everything familiar is transforming into something unknowable. But almost everyone feels a sense of wonder. This is impossible, yet it's happening. Earth is sinking into another world, and for these moments, you're conscious enough to experience it. The air grows thicker still. Breathing requires more effort now, like trying to inhale through a cloth. Not difficult enough to cause distress, just noticeable. Each breath draws in dense cold gas that tastes increasingly foreign. Your lungs work harder, processing atmosphere that's becoming less Earth and more Uranus with every passing moment. But you're still breathing, still alive in this transitional space between worlds. Let yourself sink with Earth now. Feel the pressure increase around you, supporting you, holding you suspended. Feel the cold seeping in, not harsh, but thorough cooling everything evenly, gently. See the blue-green, filling your vision completely until there's no other color, no other light. Just this one perfect shade everywhere in everything. You're descending through layers of atmosphere so deep and so dense that they become almost solid, almost like sleep itself, thick and enveloping. Let it hold you. Let it press softly inward from all sides. Let yourself dissolve into the blue-green density, sinking into the deep atmospheric ocean of another world. Earth sinks deeper still, and now you enter the true cloud layers of Uranus. These aren't clouds like the ones you know, fluffy white shapes drifting across a blue sky. These are vast regions of methane crystals, frozen droplets of exotic chemistry suspended in hydrogen and helium. They stretch for thousands of kilometers in every direction, layer upon layer, creating a realm of soft diffuse substance that's neither quite gas nor quite solid. The methane clouds wrap around Earth like veils. Thin at first, just hazes that make the air slightly opaque, then thicker, becoming more substantial. The visibility decreases gradually, gently. What was once an infinite view of turquoise becomes more enclosed. You can see perhaps a few kilometers, then less than just hundreds of meters. The world shrinks to what's immediately around you, everything else hidden behind curtains of blue-green mist. Light from the sun, which has been filtering through Uranus's atmosphere all this time, begins to fade. Not suddenly dark, but dimming, as if evening is arriving very, very slowly. The sun itself is no longer visible, blocked by layer after layer of methane clouds above. Only its diffuse glow remains scattered through countless particles of ice and gas. The blue-green light that filled everything becomes softer, gentler like twilight, that deepens but never quite reaches night. This dimming has a strange beauty to it. Everything glows from within, illuminated by light that comes from no particular direction. There are no shadows anymore, no bright spots or dark corners, just an even soft radiance that makes the world feel dreamlike. Objects seem to float in this gentle luminescence, their edges softer, their presence quieter. It's like being inside a lamp made of blue-green glass, the light diffused so thoroughly that it becomes the air itself. The pressure continues its steady increase. By now, it's significant, noticeable in every moment. Imagine wearing a suit that's too tight, but over your entire body evenly distributed. Not painful, but constant. The dense atmosphere presses in from all directions, squeezing gently but firmly. Your ears have long since adjusted. Now it's your whole body feeling the compression, like being hugged by invisible arms that gradually tighten. Yet remarkably, Earth holds together. The planet's rocky crust, forged over billions of years, is strong enough to resist this pressure, at least for now. Mountains still stand, valleys still exist. The continents maintain their shapes. Earth remains Earth, a solid sphere sinking through gas and clouds. But you can feel the strain. The ground trembles occasionally, subtle vibrations, as the crust adjusts to forces it was never meant to withstand. Nothing breaks yet, but everything flexes, everything adapts. The winds of Uranus begin to reach Earth's surface. These aren't breezes, or even storms in the usual sense. They're atmospheric currents, larger than continents, rivers of gas flowing at speeds that would be called hurricanes on Earth. But here, they're just the normal circulation of a gas giant's weather. They blow horizontally through the cloud layers, and now Earth sits in their path. These winds arrive with strange gentleness despite their power. Because the air is so dense now, the wind doesn't feel violent. It's more like being in a very strong current underwater, pushed steadily by invisible force. Trees that remain standing bend horizontal, but they don't snap. They simply lean into the eternal wind. Buildings creak and settle, facing the constant pressure. Anything loose has long since been carried away, but everything anchored holds on bending, adapting. The sound of these winds is deep and resonant, a bass note even lower than before. It vibrates through the ground, through buildings, through your bones. Some people feel it more than hear at a frequency so low, it's almost below the range of human hearing. It's not unpleasant, more like standing next to a large purring engine, a constant, powerful presence that you feel in your chest, your stomach, your whole body resonating with it. Cold intensifies dramatically at these depths. The temperature has dropped far below, freezing now approaching levels Earth has never naturally experienced. Everything begins to freeze in earnest. Water in all its forms, ice that was thin becomes thick. Oceans that were rising now freeze from the surface, down becoming vast sheets of ice. Rivers solidify. Rain that falls freezes mid-air into tiny pellets of ice that drift slowly in the dense atmosphere. The freezing creates beauty as it destroys. Every surface becomes coated with ice crystals of extraordinary delicacy. Frost patterns spread across windows, across leaves, across rock faces. These aren't simple ice crystals though. The atmosphere here contains methane and other gases, and they freeze too, creating exotic ices in colours beyond the normal white. Slight yellows, pale blues, subtle purples, all mixed with ordinary water ice to create fractals of impossible intricacy. Buildings become sculptures of ice. Trees become frozen in their windswept positions, every branch coated, every leaf preserved in a shell of crystal. The landscape transforms into something from a fairy tale, everything glittering in the soft blue-green light. It's achingly beautiful, this frozen world wrapped in clouds. A museum of ice preserving everything in the moment of transformation. The methane clouds themselves are beautiful too, in their own alien way. They swirl and flow in slow patterns driven by winds and temperature differences. Sometimes they thin, allowing slightly brighter light through. Sometimes they thicken, dimming the world further. They have textures. You can almost feel wisps and billows and sheets of mist that drift past like ghosts. Earth is surrounded by this flowing, freezing beauty, sinking through art, made by physics and chemistry alone. Your breath, if you could still breathe, this altered air would freeze instantly. Moisture from your lungs would turn to ice crystals, sparkling as they drift away. The very air touching your skin would feel so cold it might seem hot, that strange sensation when extreme cold burns like fire. But our story has moved beyond physical sensation now. We're in the realm of observation, of witnessing, of imagination, following Earth into places where no living thing could survive. Time feels slower here in the depths of the clouds. Maybe it's the dim light, or the muffled sounds, or the way everything moves in that dense atmosphere with such dream-like laziness. Moments stretch. The descent feels eternal, though it continues at a measurable pace. You're falling through layers that have no names, through altitudes that have never been experienced, deeper into a world that was never meant to be entered this way. Earth becomes a visitor in the clouds of Uranus, a solid sphere surrounded by endless mist and ice and flowing gas. The contrast is stark, something real and permanent, moving through something ephemeral and ever-changing. Rock and metal and frozen water passing through hydrogen and helium and methane. Two fundamentally different kinds of worlds brought together in this impossible collision that happens only in imagination. Feel yourself in those clouds now, the pressure supporting you from all sides, the cold touching you everywhere, the soft blue-green light filtering through endless mist, the low vibration of ancient winds. Let yourself be suspended here in this place, between places this depth that feels like sleep, feels when sleep is deepest. No thoughts, no worries. Just the slow sink into darker shades of blue-green, into thicker, denser, quieter space. Down and down and down, through clouds that have no bottom, through atmosphere that becomes everything. Rest here in the descent. Rest in the cold beauty. Rest in the pressure and the dimness and the endless gentle falling. Below the clouds lies something stranger still. Earth descends past the realm of gas and mist into a region scientists call the ice layer, though it's not ice as you'd recognize it. Here, thousands of kilometers deep inside, Uranus pressure and cold have created forms of matter that don't exist naturally anywhere on Earth's surface. Water, ammonia, methane, all compressed into substances, both solid and liquid, at once, behaving in ways that seem impossible. The temperature here has fallen to depths of cold almost unimaginable, nearly 200 degrees below zero on the Celsius scale. At this temperature, the air itself would be solid on Earth. Nitrogen would be frozen rock, oxygen would be ice. Even carbon dioxide, which makes dry ice, would be hard as stone. This is cold that reaches toward absolute zero, toward the temperature where atoms almost stop moving entirely. A stillness written into the fabric of matter itself. Yet paradoxically, the pressure here creates heat through compression. Imagine squeezing something so hard it warms up despite the cold around it. That's what happens in these depths. The weight of thousands of kilometers of atmosphere above presses down with such force that molecules are crushed together, and that crushing generates warmth. So this layer exists in a strange balance: cold from above, heat from pressure, creating temperatures and conditions Earth has never known. Earth sinks into this exotic ocean of compressed ice. The atmosphere becomes so dense now that it's more like a liquid than gas. You could almost swim through it if you could exist here. The boundary between Uranus's atmosphere and this ice layer blurs, just as the boundary between its atmosphere and space blurred far above. Everything transitions gradually in a gas giant. There are no hard edges, no surfaces, just continuous change from one state to another. The pressure at these depths is crushing beyond description, thousands of times greater than atmospheric pressure at Earth's surface, millions of times greater than the deepest ocean trenches. This pressure would compress steel like paper, would force atoms closer together than they want to be. And Earth, our solid rocky planet, begins to feel this terrible squeeze. The crust starts to fracture. Not all at once, but in spreading networks of cracks that grow from small to large. Mountain ranges split along their lengths. Ocean floors rupture. Continental plates, which have drifted slowly across Earth's surface for billions of years, begin to buckle under pressure they were never designed to withstand. The planet groans with sounds too deep to hear vibrations that rumble through rock and metal and frozen water. And then, through these fractures, something remarkable happens. Earth's interior is hot heated by radioactive decay and leftover warmth from the planet's formation. The core is molten iron at temperatures of thousands of degrees. The mantle surrounding it is semi-solid rock under such pressure and heat that it flows like thick honey over geological time. Now, as the crust cracks, this internal heat finds pathways to the surface. Magma rises through the fractures. Liquid rock glowing orange and red forces its way upward through the breaking crust. On a normal Earth, this would create volcanoes, lava flows, destruction. But here in the unimaginable cold of Uranus's ice layer, something different happens. The magma meets temperatures so low that the contrast becomes almost violent. Molten rock at over 1,000 degrees encounters ice at nearly 200 below zero, a difference of more than 1,200 degrees. The meeting creates steam, vast quantities of it, but steam that behaves strangely in this high-pressure environment. It can't expand and rise as it would normally. Instead, it's compressed, immediately forced into states between gas and liquid. The heat from the magma creates temporary pockets of warmth in the endless cold small spheres, where temperature rises briefly before the cold crushes back in. It's like watching hot and cold battle each other, neither quite winning. Where magma touches ice, new substances form. Water heated under pressure becomes supercritical, a state that's neither liquid nor gas, but both. Ammonia and methane, ices melt and boil and freeze, again in cycles. The chemistry becomes complex exotic compounds forming that have no names because they've never existed before. Earth's heat and Uranus's cold create a laboratory of extreme conditions, mixing elements in ways nature rarely allows. The ice layer itself has a strange beauty. In our imagination, if light could penetrate here, you might see vast formations of exotic ice stretching in all directions. Not clear like water ice, but opaque coloured faintly by dissolved minerals and gases. Structures like frozen waterfalls, like crystal caverns, but made of substances that would boil away instantly if brought to Earth's surface. This is ice that only exists under crushing pressure ice that would transform into gas if the weight above it were removed. Earth continues sinking, breaking, releasing its heat into the cold. The planet is being transformed by forces from outside and within, compressed from without by Uranus's pressure, fractured from within by its own geological stresses. The two processes work against each other and together reshaping the rocky sphere that has been home to life, to oceans, to forests and cities and dreams. But even in this destruction, there's a strange peace. Everything happens with the slowness of geological time compressed into moments. The breaking of a world is paradoxically gentle, inevitable, like watching ice melt or stone erode. There's no sudden catastrophe, no explosive end, just transformation, constant and thorough, as Earth becomes something new in the crushing depths of another world's interior. The contrast between hot and cold, between Earth's fiery core and Uranus's frozen depths, creates a dynamic system. Heat rising, cold, pressing down, pressure, squeezing from all sides. In this crucible of extremes, the familiar planet changes. Its shape begins to deform slightly under the pressure, becoming less perfectly spherical. Its surface cracks like an eggshell being compressed. Its interior churns as heat seeks escape routes through the fracturing crust. Let yourself float in this deep, dark place. Feel the pressure as support holding you suspended in the dense ice layer. Feel the cold as stillness, as the quiet that comes when everything slows down. And feel the occasional warmth from Earth's interior as small moments of comfort in the surrounding chill. You're held between extremes here, cradled between opposites, suspended in a state that's both everything and nothing. Rest in this paradox. Rest in the deep. Rest in the transformation. Let the pressure support you completely as you sink into the deepest sleep, into the cold, dark peace at the center of the story. At the very heart of Earth, deeper than the deepest ocean trench, deeper than any hole humanity has ever drilled, lies the core, a sphere of iron and nickel, mostly solid at the very center, surrounded by an outer layer that's liquid despite temperatures hot enough to melt rock. This core has existed for over 4 billion years, slowly cooling, generating Earth's magnetic field through its churning motions. It's never touched anything but its own surrounding mantle, until now. Earth, fractured and compressed, sinks through the final layers of Uranus's ice mantle. Below lies something scientists believe exists but have never seen: Uranus's core. A mysterious realm at the center of the ice giant, where pressure becomes so extreme that matter behaves in ways difficult even to imagine. Some theories suggest a rocky core like Earth's, but smaller. Others propose something stranger, a core of exotic ices compressed into states that blur the line between solid and liquid. The moment approaches with the inevitability of tides. Earth's broken crust, its churning mantle, all of it sinks inward, but the core, the dense iron heart, sinks fastest. Heavy metals fall through the lighter ices of Uranus, like a stone through water, leaving the rocky outer layers behind. The core descends alone, now hot and heavy, toward a meeting that the universe rarely arranges. And then they touch. Iron meets ice heat, meets cold Earth's ancient heart, meets Uranus's hidden center. The contact is not violent in the way you might expect. There's no explosion, no sudden blast. Instead, energy transfers between them in ways both subtle and profound. The iron, still hot from billions of years of radioactive decay and primordial heat, meets material so cold and so compressed that it exists in a state no laboratory on Earth has ever created. The temperature difference drives immediate changes. Heat flows from Earth's core outward into Uranus's core, following the laws of thermodynamics that govern all things. But this isn't simple warming. The exotic ices of Uranus's core, held solid by immense pressure, begin to absorb this heat. Phase changes ripple outward. Materials that were solid become liquid. Liquids become gases, but gases compress so thoroughly they still flow like fluids. States of matter shift and transform in cascading waves. Chemical reactions begin reactions that would astound any scientist. Iron from Earth's core, superheated, begins to interact with the water ice, the ammonia ice, the methane compounds of Uranus's interior. New substances form iron compounds that have never existed before. Oxides and hydrides, and complex molecules created under pressures and temperatures that represent a unique point in the universe. This collision is creating chemistry that's completely novel. Energy releases from these reactions, adding to the heat already present. Not enough to cause catastrophic expansion or explosion in the crushing pressures of this depth, but enough to create motion to drive mixing. The two cores begin to merge, not like two objects melting together, but like two liquids stirred in the same container. Eddies form, currents swirl. Iron from Earth spreads through ices from Uranus. Exotic compounds from Uranus penetrate the iron matrix of Earth's core. The magnetic fields of the two worlds interact in this deep place. Earth's core generates magnetism through its motion, and this field has protected our planet's surface from solar radiation for eons. Uranus has its own magnetic field, tilted and offset from its rotational axis in strange ways. Now, these two fields meet their lines of force, tangling, creating complex patterns of electromagnetic energy in the conducting materials around them. The fields don't cancel or fight. They merge, creating something new and more complex. This merger generates pulses of energy that ripple outward through both worlds. Not heat exactly, though there is heat. Not pressure waves, though those exist too. Something more fundamental: reorganization at the atomic level. The combined mass of two planets' cores mixing under conditions of extreme pressure and temperature creates a gradient of energy that propagates upward through all the layers above. The very structure of matter is shifting. Around the merging cores, new layers begin to form. Elements and compounds sort themselves by density and chemical affinity. Iron and nickel, the heaviest, settle toward the center of the new combined core. Around them, layers of iron-rich compounds. Then layers where Earth's rocky mantle material mixes with Uranus's ices. Then the vast ice mantle of Uranus, now stirred and warmed by Earth's passage. Everything finds its new equilibrium, settling into structures determined by physics and chemistry, operating under extreme conditions. The heat from Earth's core, distributed through Uranus's interior, begins to change the ice giant from within. For most of its existence, Uranus has been strangely cold, radiating very little heat compared to other gas giants. Scientists have never fully understood why. But now, with Earth's thermal energy added to its interior, something shifts. The planet begins to warm from its core outwards slowly but measurably. It's like a fire being lit in the heart of ice, a warmth that will take centuries to reach the surface, but has nonetheless begun its journey. The mixing of two worlds creates complexity beyond description. Imagine every element from Earth's composition encountering every compound from Uranus's makeup, all under pressures millions of times atmospheric and temperatures ranging from near absolute zero to thousands of degrees. The combinations are endless. New minerals form crystals of substances that have no names. Alloys of metal and ice that shouldn't be possible. Compounds that exist for moments before transforming into other compounds. This is alchemy on a planetary scale. Not the mythical transformation of lead into gold, but something more profound. The birth of a new world from the union of two old ones. The cores merged now become the seed of this new planet. Their combined mass, their mixed chemistry, their shared heat and magnetism, all of it forms the foundation of what comes next. From this deep, dark, impossibly pressurized heart, a new world will grow. In the darkness of this deepest place, where no light has ever reached and no eye will ever see, the most important transformation occurs. Two separate histories, Earth's 4.5 billion years and Uranus's equally ancient story merge into one. The iron that formed from supernovae before the solar system existed meets ices condensed from the original stellar nebula. Material that has been separate since the dawn of the planets now mixes, creating continuity where there was division. It's strangely peaceful down here, despite the enormity of what's happening. The pressure is so great, the motion occurs slowly, almost gently. The heat is intense, but evenly distributed. The chemical reactions, though energetic, proceed at rates determined by the extreme conditions which slow everything down. Time feels different in this compressed space. Moments stretch. Changes that would be explosive in normal conditions happen with dreamlike gradualness. Feel yourself at the center of this merger, surrounded by pressure so great it defines you, held in place by forces incomprehensibly strong. You are at the core of the story, now the deepest point, where two worlds become one. Here in the dark and the heat and the crushing depth, there is peace. The peace of completion, of union, of transformation finished. Rest here at the center. Rest in the merged core of a new world. Rest in the deep, dark, quiet heart where everything has finally come together. From the merged cores, something unprecedented begins to take shape. The collision is complete now, the merging finished. What remains is no longer Earth, no longer Uranus, but something entirely new. A planet that has never existed before in the 4.5 billion years since the solar system formed. A world born from impossible union, settling now into its new form. The size of this new planet falls somewhere between its parents. Larger than Earth was, with more mass, more volume, more gravity, but smaller than Uranus, compressed by the loss of its outermost atmospheric layers during the collision. If you could measure it, this new world might be perhaps twice Earth's diameter, but only a fraction of Uranus's original size. A middle child of the cosmos, inheriting traits from both lineages. Its structure reorganizes itself according to the patient laws of physics. The heavy iron core at the center, a mixture now of Earth's metals and Uranus's compressed materials. Around it, a thick mantle of rock and exotic ices, layers upon layers of material in states between solid and liquid. Then the vast atmosphere, thousands of kilometers deep, a mixture of Earth's nitrogen and oxygen, with Uranus's hydrogen and helium and methane, everything settling into equilibrium, finding its natural arrangement by density and temperature. The surface, if this world can be said to have a surface, exists somewhere in those transitional layers. Not a hard boundary like Earth's crust, was but a gradual change from the solid mantle to the liquid upper mantle to the supercritical fluids above. There's no ground to stand on anymore, no oceans with shores, just layers of increasing density as you descend and increasing lightness as you rise. The planet has become more like Jupiter or Saturn in structure, but with rocky materials mixed throughout. The color of this new world is extraordinary. When seen from space, if anyone could see it, the planet would glow with shades never witnessed before. The turquoise of Uranus remains methane still present in the atmosphere, still scattering light in those characteristic wavelengths. But now there's more. Hints of blue from the oxygen that Earth contributed, streaks of white from water clouds forming at various altitudes, swirls of deeper colors where rocky material blown upward by the violence of merger creates dust in the atmosphere. The dominant color is a blue-green that's richer, deeper, more complex than Uranus's original hue. Imagine the color of tropical seas mixed with the color of summer sky with undertones of jade and hints of sapphire. The planet almost glows with this light, reflecting the distant sun from countless layers of cloud and haze. It's beautiful in an alien way, a beauty that has no comparison because nothing like it has existed before. The atmosphere itself is a wonder of complexity. At the top, thin layers of hydrogen and helium, the lightest gases extend far into space. Below them, thicker regions where methane condenses into clouds. Deeper still, where pressure and temperature rise, water vapor from Earth's oceans exists in various states, creating cloud layers at multiple altitudes. Ammonia clouds, nitrogen clouds, clouds of exotic compounds formed during the merger. The atmosphere is stratified into dozens of distinct layers, each with its own weather, its own chemistry. Storms develop in this atmosphere, but they're unlike anything that existed on either parent world. Vast cyclones, hundreds of kilometers across, powered by the temperature differences between the hot core and the cold upper atmosphere. These storms mix materials from different layers, carrying methane upward, pulling water downward, creating chemical reactions as different substances meet. Lightning flashes in these storms, but lightning made from discharges between ice crystals and rocky dust, creating colors from blue to red to purple. The planet spins, though its rotation is different now. Earth's fast spin, completing a rotation every 24 hours, has merged with Uranus's slower rhythm. The new world rotates somewhere between the two, perhaps completing a turn every 30 or 40 hours. And it has inherited Uranus's strange tilt. This new planet also spins on its side, rolling through its orbit rather than spinning upright. The collision didn't correct that ancient tilt. The new world keeps this peculiarity, this sideways dance through space. Gravity on this world is stronger than Earth's was, but weaker than you might expect for something this size. The mixing of Earth's dense rock with Uranus's lighter ices creates an average density that's not as high as Earth's, but higher than Uranus's. If you could somehow stand on the transition between mantle and atmosphere, you'd weigh perhaps 1.5 times what you weighed on Earth. Enough to notice, but not crushing. The planet holds together under this gravity compressed into a stable sphere. There's heat within this world more than Uranus ever had. Earth's core brought warmth, and the merger itself generated enormous amounts of energy. This heat slowly works its way outward, creating convection currents in the mantle, driving weather in the atmosphere. Unlike old Uranus, which was strangely cold, and still this new planet is thermally active. It radiates heat into space, glowing faintly in infrared wavelengths. It's alive with internal motion, churning, mixing, constantly changing. The magnetic field of this new world is complex and strong, generated by the conducting liquid layers in the mantle and the mixed core. The field extends far into space, deflecting solar wind, trapping charged particles. This field is stronger than Earth's was and more irregular than Uranus's. It has multiple poles, regions of intense magnetism scattered across the surface and interior. Auroras would appear not just near the rotational poles, but at various latitudes, creating shimmering curtains of light in the thick atmosphere. This planet has no moons anymore. Earth's moon was lost during the approach, flung away, or captured by another planet. Uranus's moon scattered when their parent began its inward journey. The new world orbits alone, solitary without companions. Perhaps some of those lost moons will eventually be recaptured, or new ones form from debris still orbiting nearby. But for now, it travels through space by itself, a singular creation. It's difficult to name such a world. Earth is gone. Uranus is gone. This is something that inherits from both, but belongs to neither. Perhaps it needs a new name, something that captures its dual nature, its unprecedented existence. But names can wait. For now, it's enough to know that it exists, this blue-green sphere rolling through space, a testament to what happens when worlds collide in the imagination. From far away from Mars or Jupiter, this new planet would be visible as a bright blue-green star, brighter than Uranus ever was, because it orbits closer to the Sun. Observers would note its unusual color, its steady light. They would see a new member of the planetary family, mysterious and beautiful. And if they could know its history, they would understand that this world carries within it the legacy of oceans and forests and cities of life and thought and dreams, all compressed and mixed with ancient ice and primordial gas into something new. The birth is complete. The new world has formed. It settles now into its orbit, finding its place in the solar system's gravitational architecture. Stable, balanced, enduring. A planet that will spin and orbit for billions of years to come. Slowly evolving, slowly cooling, carrying forward the mixed heritage of two very different worlds. It exists in the realm of imagination, but here in this story, it's real. A new planet born from collision, beautiful in its strangeness, peaceful in its impossibility. Rest with this new world now. Feel its gravity holding you gently. See its blue-green light surrounding you, like water, like sky, like peace. You've traveled so far in this story, from the distant cold of Uranus's original orbit to the crushing depths of merger, and now to this new beginning. The journey is nearly done. Let yourself float in the atmosphere of this new planet, suspended in its strange beauty, held by its gentle gravity. Everything is new here. Everything is possible. And in this newness, this birth, this transformation, find your own rest. Find your own peace. Let the blue-green world hold you as you drift into the deepest, most peaceful sleep. Let's descend now in our imagination to what might be called the surface of this new world. Not a surface like Earth once had with solid ground beneath blue sky, but a transitional realm where the thick atmosphere gradually becomes something more substantial. A place where gases compress into liquids and liquids freeze into exotic solids. This is the outer shell of the new planet, and it's a landscape unlike anything in our solar system. Ice dominates everything here, but not the clear, familiar ice of winter ponds or mountain glaciers. This is ice made from substances Earth rarely saw. Water ice, yes, some remains from Earth's ancient oceans, frozen solid in temperatures far below anything Antarctica ever knew. But mixed with it are ices of methane, ammonia, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, all of them frozen together into a surface that spans colours from white to pale blue to faint yellow. A frozen palette of chemistry spread across the entire world. This ice surface isn't smooth or uniform. It ripples and flows in frozen waves patterns created by the planet's formation, by winds that blew when things were still settling, by pressure differences that pushed material upward or downward. There are ridges and valleys, hills and depressions, all made of ice harder than steel at these temperatures. The landscape resembles nothing so much as a frozen ocean waves caught mid-motion and held forever in crystalline stillness. Scattered across this ice plain are features that might be called mountains, though they're unlike Earth's mountains were. These are cryovolcanoes, ice volcanoes, formed by pressurized liquids from below, forcing their way to the surface. Where Earth once had volcanoes that erupted molten rock, this world has vents that spew liquid methane, liquid nitrogen, slurries of ammonia and water. These erupt slowly, not explosively oozing out and immediately freezing into new formations. The cryovolcanoes build structures of surreal beauty, cones and domes of layered ice, each layer a different substance that erupted at a different time. Some are tall, rising kilometers above the surrounding plains. Others are low and broad, spreading out like frozen puddles. When they erupt, which happens in slow cycles driven by internal pressure, they release plumes of gas and liquid that freeze mid-air, falling back as snow made of exotic chemicals. This snow accumulates in drifts around the vents, creating patterns of light and shadow in the perpetual twilight. Where Earth's oceans once covered most of the planet's surface, there are now frozen seas of unimaginable size. These aren't uniform sheets of ice. They're fractured, broken into plates that have shifted and ground against each other as the planet settled into its new configuration. The boundaries between plates create pressure ridges, lines of crumpled ice pushed upward where two plates collided. Some of these ridges stand hundreds of meters tall, jagged walls of frozen water and ammonia stretching across the landscape like mountain ranges. Between the ridges, smoother areas spread out expanses of ice that reflect the dim light from above. The surface here is marked with patterns, stress fractures, and sublimation features where frozen gases have turned directly to vapor and escaped, leaving behind depressions and textures. From a distance, these smooth regions look almost peaceful, serene in their frozen stillness. Up close, they reveal incredible complexity, every centimetre marked with the history of the planet's violent birth and gradual cooling. The sky above this frozen landscape holds its own wonders. The thick atmosphere scatters light in ways that create perpetual dawn or dusk, never bright day, never complete night. The dominant colour is blue-green, that mixture of methane and oxygen absorption, creating the characteristic hue. But at this transition zone between surface and atmosphere, other colours appear. Hazes of orange and pink from organic compounds formed by sunlight acting on methane. Layers of white clouds made of various ices condensing at different altitudes. And the auroras are magnificent beyond description. The planet's complex magnetic field channels charged particles from the solar wind down into the atmosphere at multiple latitudes. Where these particles collide with atmospheric gases, they create light. Curtains of luminescence drape across the sky in colours Earth never saw. Greens and blues, from oxygen reds, from nitrogen purples, from mixtures of gases. These auroras shift and flow responding to changes in the solar wind, creating ever-changing displays that light up the twilight sky with ethereal beauty. The light from these auroras reflects off the ice surface, making the entire landscape glow softly. The frozen seas shimmer with green and blue reflected radiance. The cryovolcanoes stand silhouetted against curtains of purple light. The pressure ridges cast long-coloured shadows. It's a world painted in aurora light, every surface touched by these shifting celestial displays. The beauty is cold, but absolute, a frozen perfection that needs no warmth to be stunning. No life exists here as we would recognise it. The temperatures are too cold, the chemistry too different, the conditions too extreme. Nothing from Earth survived the merger. No microbe, no seed, no possibility of familiar biology. If life could exist in such a place, it would need to be something utterly alien, based on different chemistry, adapted to conditions no Earth organism ever faced. For now, this world is sterile, pristine, untouched by anything living. Yet there's something about this landscape that evokes feeling despite its lifelessness. The vast frozen plains speak to something deep in the human heart that responds to wilderness, to places untouched and pure. The auroras create beauty that needs no observer to be beautiful. The cryovolcanoes build their ice mountains with patient geological artistry. This world is hostile to life, but it's not hostile to beauty. It creates art from physics and chemistry alone. In the deep silence of this frozen surface, there's a profound peace. Nothing moves quickly here. The winds that blow are slow, pushing across ice that barely responds. The eruptions from cryovolcanoes take days or weeks. The auroras shift over hours. Time has slowed to geological rhythms, to the patient pace of a world that will exist for billions of years without hurry. It's the peace of deep cold, of pressure, that holds everything in place of change measured in eons rather than moments. Imagine yourself standing on this ice, if standing were possible, if you could exist in such a place. The cold would be absolute, the silence complete the beauty, overwhelming. You'd see the aurora-lit sky above the frozen ocean, stretching to every horizon, the distant cryovolcanoes marking the landscape. You'd feel the stillness of a world at peace with its own impossibility. And in that stillness, in that cold, in that sterile beauty, you might find a reflection of the deepest rest, the most complete quiet, the peace that comes when everything has finally stopped moving and simply is. Let that peace fill you now. Let the cold be not uncomfortable, but calming like a cool hand on a fevered brow. Let the silence be not empty, but full the kind of quiet where you can finally hear your own heartbeat slowing. Let the frozen beauty surround you, hold you, keep you safe in its crystalline embrace. You're on the surface of the new world now, where everything is still and nothing hurts and rest is eternal. Rise now from the frozen surface up into the layers of air that wrap this new world like blankets of invisible substance. The atmosphere here is thousands of kilometers deep, far thicker than Earth's ever was, pressing down with weight that would crush anything familiar. Yet within this crushing depth lies a beauty of chemistry and physics, a realm where two planets' breaths have mixed into something never before seen. The composition is a marriage of opposites. Oxygen, which Earth's life spent billions of years producing, now mingles with methane from Uranus's primordial composition. These two gases, when mixed and given energy from sunlight, want to react with each other. They create water and carbon dioxide through slow chemical processes, releasing energy as they do. The atmosphere is not in equilibrium, but in constant, gentle transformation chemistry happening on a planetary scale across eons. Hydrogen and helium dominate the upper reaches, the lightest elements rising to the top, as they always do. Below them, nitrogen from Earth's atmosphere creates layers of its own. Deeper still, the methane becomes more concentrated, and water vapor too, each finding altitudes where temperature and pressure suit their existence. The atmosphere is stratified into dozens of distinct zones, each with its own composition, its own temperature, its own way of scattering light. The clouds that form in this atmosphere are wonders beyond imagination. At the highest, coldest levels, methane condenses into ice crystals, creating clouds of pale blue and white that catch sunlight and glow softly. Lower down, water clouds form, but not like Earth's fluffy cumulus. These are compressed, dense layers of droplets under such pressure they're nearly liquid sheets suspended in the air. They shimmer with iridescence, splitting light into component colours the way soap bubbles do. Deeper still, ammonia clouds create layers of yellow and tan. These clouds are thick, opaque, blocking light from below. Between them and the water clouds, clear zones allow vision through hundreds of kilometres of atmosphere, creating depth perception that's dizzying. You can see layer after layer receding into the distance, each one a different colour, a different texture, a different mood. The atmosphere becomes a three-dimensional painting of gases and clouds, endlessly complex. The colours shift as sunlight passes through these layers. At the top, where the atmosphere is thin and the sun's light enters most directly, the blue-green of methane absorption dominates. But as light travels deeper, getting scattered and absorbed and re-emitted by countless particles and molecules, it transforms. Oranges appear from organic hazes, purples from nitrogen compounds, reds from complex molecules formed by photochemistry. The deeper you go, the more the light becomes filtered and changed, until at the lowest levels, it's a dim orange-red glow, like perpetual sunset. Winds race through this atmosphere at speeds that dwarf Earth's worst hurricanes. But the density of the air here means these winds don't feel violent in the way you'd expect. The atmosphere is so thick that motion through it is more like swimming through water than moving through air. The winds push with tremendous force, but steadily, not in gusts. Rivers of gas flowing at hundreds of kilometers per hour, carrying clouds and hazes with them creating bands and zones across the planet's face. These wind patterns organize themselves into stable structures, jet streams at various altitudes, flowing in different directions, driven by the planet's rotation and its internal heat. Where winds at different levels flow past each other, vortices form rotating storms that can persist for years or centuries. Some of these storms are small, just a few hundred kilometers across. Others are vast, larger than Earth, once were swirling masses of cloud that dominate entire latitudes. The pressure increases steadily as you descend. At the top of the atmosphere, it's nearly vacuum space itself. But each kilometer downward adds more weight, more compression. By the time you reach the cloud layers, pressure is many times what it was at Earth's sea level. Deeper still, it rises to hundreds, then thousands of atmospheres. The air becomes so dense, it takes on properties of liquid flowing in waves, creating surfaces and interfaces between layers of different density. Yet despite this crushing pressure, the atmosphere is stable. It's not collapsing inward or expanding outward, but held in balance by the planet's gravity and the internal heat that pushes upward. This stability means the weather, while energetic, follows patterns. The storms, though powerful, orbit in predictable paths. The winds, though fast, flow in established channels. There's order in the chaos structure, in the complexity. No human could breathe this air. The mixture is wrong, the pressure too great, the temperature varying from lethally cold to scorchingly hot, depending on altitude. Oxygen exists, yes, remnants of Earth's atmosphere, but mixed with so much else that it's diluted beyond usefulness. Methane would be poisonous, even if the pressure allowed breathing. This is alien air, beautiful, but deadly welcoming to nothing that evolved under Earth's gentle sky. Yet there's something almost breathable about the idea of this atmosphere. The way it holds the planet protects it from radiation, mediates temperature, creates weather and beauty. It performs all the functions an atmosphere should, just in ways too extreme for life as we knew it. The planet breathes in its own fashion, cycling gases between surface and space, absorbing sunlight, radiating heat, living as planets live in slow metabolic rhythms of physics. The turbulence in this atmosphere creates sounds, though there's no ear to hear them. Frequencies below human hearing infrasound, generated by winds, shearing past each other, by storms rotating by the planet's own resonances. If you could translate these sounds into ranges we could perceive, you might hear the planet humming a deep chord, made of thousands of tones, the voice of a world singing to itself in the darkness. Light filters through the upper layers, even now in our story's perpetual present. The sun, smaller than it appeared from Earth, but still the dominant source of illumination, sends its rays through thousands of kilometers of gas and cloud. The light that finally penetrates to the lower levels is soft, diffuse, colored by its journey. Everything is lit by this filtered radiance, this light that has passed through so much atmosphere. It's become something gentler than direct sunlight, something more like the light in dreams. Imagine floating in this atmosphere, suspended at some middle altitude where the pressure is balanced and the temperature moderate. You're surrounded by layers of cloud above and below, by air so thick it nearly holds you up. The light is blue-green and orange shifting, moving as clouds drift past. Winds push at you steadily, carrying you along vast circular paths around the planet. You can see for hundreds of kilometers through clear zones, watching weather patterns develop and dissolve. There's a strange comfort in this density, this pressure, this thickness of atmosphere. It's like being held, wrapped, swaddled in layers of gas that won't let you fall. The air supports you, pushes at you from all sides, equally creating a sensation of floating in something that's neither air nor water, but something between. The weight of atmosphere above presses down, but the pressure of atmosphere below pushes up, and you're balanced between them, suspended in equilibrium. Let yourself float there now, in the middle atmosphere of this new world. Let the pressure hold you from all sides, supporting you completely. Let the filtered light wash over you blue-green and orange and soft. Let the wind carry you in slow circles around the planet, showing you cloud formations and clear zones, storms and calms, beauty that exists only because atoms and molecules follow their nature. You're suspended in the breath of a planet held in air that's dense, as comfort-colored, as dreams moving, as sleep moves, carrying you deeper into rest. The new planet born from collision must now find its place in the solar system's grand architecture. It cannot simply occupy the space where Earth once orbited, nor can it remain where Uranus fell from. The merger has changed its mass, its velocity, its relationship with the sun's gravity, and so it drifts, settling gradually into an orbit that reflects its new nature, somewhere between the paths of its two parents. The mathematics of orbital mechanics are patient and inexorable. The planet's speed and distance from the sun determine where it will eventually circle. Too fast and it would fly outward toward the outer system. Too slow and it would spiral inward toward the sun's heat. But the collision has left it with a velocity somewhere in between, and so it finds a middle path, an orbit that belongs neither to rocky inner planets nor icy outer giants. Perhaps it settles into a path closer to the sun than Uranus ever came, but farther out than Earth ever travelled. A lonely zone between Mars and Jupiter, or perhaps between Jupiter and Saturn. An orbit that takes years to complete, but not the decades Uranus required. The planet rolls along this new path sideways, has always taken its time to circle the sun, basking in light stronger than Uranus knew, but weaker than Earth remembered. From this new distance, the sun appears different than either parent world saw it. Larger than the bright star Uranus observed, but smaller than the warm disk Earth cherished. It provides enough light to illuminate the cloud layers, to drive the weather systems, to create the beautiful filtering of rays through atmosphere, but not enough to warm the surface, not enough to melt the exotic ices that coat the world. The planet lives in a middle ground of illumination, in perpetual dawn or dusk, nor the bright day nor complete night. Somewhere in the darkness of space, Earth's moon wanders alone. When Earth began its fatal approach to Uranus, the moon's orbit became unstable. Perhaps it was flung outward by the gravitational chaos escaping to a wider orbit around the sun. Or perhaps another planet's gravity captured it temporarily. Now, it drifts a small rocky sphere that once reflected sunlight onto Earth's oceans and forests, orphaned by the transformation of its parent. The moon might eventually be recaptured by the new planet if their orbits happen to intersect at just the right angle and velocity. Gravity could catch it, gently pulling it into a new orbit around this strange blue-green world. It would circle a planet very different from the one it left, reflecting light onto frozen surfaces and thick atmospheres instead of water and land. Or it might remain free, finding its own orbit around the sun, becoming a small planet in its own right, carrying within its rocks the only unchanged remnant of Earth's original nature. The other planets feel the absence and the addition. Jupiter, massive and gravitationally dominant, notices the change in the solar system's balance. Where there were 8 planets in their traditional places, now there were 7 in unexpected arrangements. Jupiter's orbit shifts slightly, almost imperceptibly, adjusting to the new distribution of mass. Saturn does the same, and Neptune, and all the others. Each one responding to the others through gravity's invisible connections. These adjustments happen slowly over years and decades and centuries. Orbits that were circular become slightly elliptical. Planets that never came close begin to approach each other at certain points. The resonances between orbits, those mathematical relationships where planets complete multiple orbits in simple ratios, all change and must find new equilibria. The solar system, that ancient clockwork that has run for billions of years, must reset itself, must find a new way of dancing that accommodates this merged world. Mars, small and cold, now has a massive neighbour, where Earth once orbited at a comfortable distance. The new planet's gravity tugs at Mars, occasionally perhaps pulling it into a slightly different orbit. Venus, shrouded in its thick clouds, spins alone on the other side of the Sun, unaware that Earth is gone. Mercury, closest to the Sun, continues its rapid orbit, too small and too far from the new planet to be much affected. But each of these worlds exists now in a solar system that has fundamentally changed. The asteroid belt, that collection of rocky fragments between Mars and Jupiter, also responds. Some asteroids find their orbits altered by the new planet's gravity. A few might be captured, pulled in to become temporary moons before escaping again or crashing into the new world's atmosphere. Others are flung outward, sent on new trajectories that take them to different parts of the solar system. The belt itself shifts, finding new stable zones where asteroids can orbit without being perturbed too strongly. Over time, measured in centuries and millennia, the solar system finds its new balance. The initial chaos of the merger settles into predictable patterns. The new planet establishes a stable orbit that it will follow for billions of years. The other planets adjust their paths until all the gravitational interactions balance out. The system reaches a new equilibrium, different from the old one, but equally stable, equally enduring. Viewed from outside, from beyond the orbit of Neptune, the solar system would look subtly different now. The familiar pattern of planets has changed. There's a blue-green world in an unexpected place, larger than some planets, but smaller than others, rolling sideways through its orbit. The spacing between worlds is different. The rhythm of their motions has altered, but it's still recognizable as a planetary system, still organized around the central sun, still following the laws of gravity and motion that govern all such systems. The new planet settles into its eternal journey around the sun. It will orbit here for billions of years, slowly evolving, slowly cooling its atmosphere and surface changing with geological patience. It will see the sun grow brighter as it ages, then expand into a red giant billions of years from now. It will witness the slow transformation of the solar system as the sun dies. But for now, for all of human timescales and far beyond it, simply orbits stable and peaceful in its new home. There's something restful about this orbital stability. The violence of collision is over the chaos of merger complete. What remains is simply motion, predictable and eternal. The planet follows its ellipse around the sun, neither gaining nor losing energy, just traveling the same path over and over. It's the motion of rest, the movement that never changes the journey that always returns to where it began. A cosmic rhythm as steady as breathing, as regular as a heartbeat, slowing towards sleep. Let yourself orbit with this new world. Feel the sun's distant warmth on one side, the cold of space on the other. Feel the gravity of the sun pulling you inward, balanced perfectly by your sideways motion, pulling you outward. You're falling toward the sun eternally, but moving forward fast enough that you never get closer. It's the most peaceful kind of falling, the kind that never ends, that never crashes, that simply continues forever in perfect balance. Let yourself fall like this, into sleep, into orbits of dreams, circling slowly around centers of peace, held in perfect equilibrium between waking and sleeping, between here and elsewhere, balanced in the gentle mathematics of rest. In the aftermath of collision, the moons drift alone through the darkness. 28 small worlds that once belonged to larger ones, now set free by the chaos that consumed their parents. Each one tumbles through space on its own trajectory, following paths determined by the final moments when their gravitational anchors disappeared. They are orphans of the cosmos, children without homes wandering the solar system in search of new purposes. Earth's moon, humanity's oldest companion, travels its solitary path with patient grace. For billions of years, it circled Earth, showing the same face, always locked in tidal embrace with the world that gave it birth. It witnessed the rise of life, the formation of oceans, the first stirrings of consciousness. Its surface still bears the marks of ancient impacts, the frozen seas of basalt, the highlands of original crust. All of this history encoded in rock, carried now through space by a world that has lost its context. The moon's journey takes it through regions it never knew when it orbited Earth. Sometimes it passes close to Mars, and the red planet's gravity tugs at it, gently bending its path. Sometimes it ventures near the asteroid belt, moving among countless rocky fragments, like a large ship among small boats. It catches sunlight on its grey surface and reflects it into empty space, beautiful even without eyes to see it. A sphere of stone and regolith tumbling slowly, heating on one side as the sun touches it, cooling on the other as it faces the void. Uranus's moons scatter in all directions, each following the velocity it had when their parent world fell inward. Miranda, that strange patchwork moon with its bizarre terrain of cliffs and valleys, spins through space alone. Its surface, half smooth and half chaotic, tells a story of ancient disruption that now will never be fully understood. Ariel and Umbriel, Titania and Oberon, all the worlds named for characters from Shakespeare, all drifting separate, now carrying their literary names into exile. Some of these orphaned moons pass close to each other in the years after the collision. Gravity brings them together briefly, two small worlds meeting in the darkness. Perhaps they're captured by each other, forming binary systems where two moons orbit their common center of mass, dancing together through space. Or perhaps they merely exchange momentum and drift apart again, slightly changed by the encounter, continuing their separate journeys with new velocities and new destinations. In rare cases, some might collide, two moons traveling on intersecting paths, meeting with gentle force. The impacts at these speeds are not violent explosions, but slow, crumpling two bodies of ice and rock merging over hours or days. They stick together, becoming one irregular lump where there were two separate spheres. Or they shatter each other, breaking into fragments that scatter in all directions, creating small clouds of debris that slowly spread and thin and disappear into the vastness. Many of the moons become asteroids, small planets in their own right, orbiting the sun directly rather than circling a larger world. They join the population of minor bodies that fill the spaces between planets. Some find stable orbits and will travel those paths for billions of years. Others land in unstable zones and will eventually be ejected from the solar system, entirely sent off into interstellar space to wander among the stars. A few might fall into the sun, ending their existence in heat and light. Jupiter, with its immense gravity, captures several of the wandering moons. Its gravitational reach extends far, and moons that pass too close are caught and pulled into orbit. They join Jupiter's large family of satellites, becoming outer members of a system that already has dozens of moons. From their new orbits, they can see the great red spot spinning below the bands of clouds in orange and brown. They've traded one parent for another smaller moons around a larger planet than they knew before. Saturn too, with its magnificent rings, might capture one or two. These new moons would orbit among or beyond the ring system, small dark bodies against the bright ice particles. They'd add their tiny masses to Saturn's collection, barely noticeable among the many moons that already exist. But they'd carry within them the material of distant origins, ice from Uranus's formation, mixed with rock from the outer solar nebula, foreign substances in Saturn's domain. There's a melancholy beauty to these orphaned moons, wandering without purpose or destination. They were born to orbit shaped by billions of years of tidal forces into nearly spherical forms, their surfaces modified by impacts and perhaps by ancient geological activity. But now they travel alone, their orbital purpose lost. They are functionally useless, just rock and ice moving through vacuum, but they carry within them the history of worlds that no longer exist as they were. Earth's moon, especially, is a vessel of memory. Its rocks contain isotopes and minerals that formed on Earth or from Earth's material during the giant impact that created the moon itself. Any future visitor to this wandering world would find in its soil evidence of Earth's composition, Earth's history, Earth's existence. The moon is a monument unintentional and unread to a planet that merged with another and became something new. Some of the smallest moons, just kilometers across, behave more like asteroids than like proper moons. They tumble chaotically rather than rotating steadily. Their surfaces are heavily cratered every square meter, marked by ancient impacts. These tiny worlds are so small that standing on one, you could almost jump into space, escaping their feeble gravity. They drift through the solar system like pebbles thrown across a vast empty room, taking centuries to cross from one planet's orbit to another's. Over millions of years, the population of orphaned moons gradually diminishes. Some are captured by planets, some collide with each other or with other bodies. Some fall into the sun or are ejected from the solar system. The solar system slowly cleans up the debris from the Great Collision, absorbing these wandering fragments back into its ordered structure. But for now, for centuries and millennia after the merger, They remain scattered throughout the inner system, silent witnesses to the impossible event that set them free. Imagine yourself as one of these moons, tumbling gently through space. You were once held orbited part of a system larger than yourself, but now you travel free unbound, moving through darkness at your own pace. The sun warms one side of you slowly, then the other as you rotate. Stars wheel around you in patterns that change gradually as you move. You're alone, but not lost, free, but not abandoned. Just traveling endlessly, traveling through the quiet vacuum held by no world but the sun itself in its distant gravitational embrace. There's peace in this solitary drifting. No demands, no purpose, no destination. Just existence and motion. Just the slow tumble through space. Just the patient journey from nowhere to nowhere. Let yourself become this orphaned moon spinning, slowly catching starlight, moving through vast emptiness toward no particular place. Feel the vacuum around you, the cold that doesn't hurt because there's nothing to hurt, the silence that's complete because there's no medium for sound. Float in this emptiness, drift in this freedom, rest in this eternal wandering through the peaceful dark between worlds. From Mars, the change in the night sky is unmistakable. Where Earth once shone as a bright blue star visible in the Martian dusk, there now appears something different. A larger light blue-green instead of pure blue, brighter than Earth ever was. It moves slowly against the background stars, following its new orbit, a presence both familiar and alien. If rovers still operated on Mars's rusty surface, their cameras would capture this strange new neighbor, this world that replaced the one they were built on. The light from the new planet reaches Mars with patient consistency, photons that bounced off cloud layers of methane and water, that reflected from frozen surfaces of exotic ice travel through space for minutes until they touch Mars's thin atmosphere. They illuminate the red dust with a faint turquoise glow on clear nights. The planet that was Earth's nearest neighbor now has a different companion, one that glows with colors Mars has never seen before in its billion years of lonely existence. Venus, wrapped in its thick clouds of sulfuric acid, spinning slowly backward in its own peculiar way, sees the change from the other side of the sun. When the alignment is right, when both planets are on the same side of the solar system, Venus's upper atmosphere catches light from the new world. That light is filtered through Venus's clouds, mixed with the planet's own yellow-white glow. Venus, which once had Earth as a sister planet, similar in size, though different in nature, now observes a stranger in Earth's place, a world neither terrestrial nor fully giant, something between. From Jupiter's distance, the new planet appears as a point of light among others, but distinctly coloured. Jupiter's many moons, if they could observe, would see in their sky a blue-green star, where once there were two separate points for Earth and Uranus. The merging has created something visible across the solar system, a beacon of turquoise light, announcing that change has come to the ancient order of planets. Jupiter itself, wrapped in storms and bands of cloud, continues its rapid rotation, indifferent to the reorganization of smaller worlds closer to the sun. Imagine beings from another star system, perhaps astronomers on a world orbiting Alpha Centauri, pointing their telescopes toward our sun. They would see its light, and around it, barely visible, the faint dots of planets reflecting that light, they would notice one planet that wasn't in their old records, or rather two planets that used to be separate have become one. The light signature would puzzle them a spectrum showing both methane and oxygen characteristics of ice giants mixed with signs of a rocky world. They would wonder what event could create such a hybrid. These distant observers might watch over years as the new planet settles into its orbit. They would see its light curve the way its brightness changes as it rotates, and different parts of its cloud layers reflect sunlight. They would detect the sideways rotation, that peculiar rolling motion inherited from Uranus. They might speculate about collision, about merger, about the violent yet beautiful processes that can transform planetary systems. They would add this event to their understanding of how dynamic these solar systems are, how nothing is truly permanent. The beauty of the new planet's light is subtle but profound. It doesn't blaze like Jupiter or Saturn when they're at opposition, doesn't gleam like Venus at its brightest. Instead, it offers a gentler radiance, a soft blue-green glow that seems to hold depth within it. Looking at it even from millions of kilometers away, you sense layers, complexity, a world with substance and mystery. The light feels peaceful, like looking at a distant ocean or a twilight sky, something that invites contemplation rather than demands attention. There's a tragic beauty to this transformation, visible across the solar system. Two worlds that existed separately for the entire history of the planets that formed from the same primordial disk, but in different regions that evolved along different paths for 4.5 billion years, have merged. That merger created something beautiful, but it also erased what was. Earth's blue and white marble appearance is gone forever. Uranus's serene turquoise disk is no more. What remains is neither and both, and something entirely new. This event teaches the fragility of worlds, even as it demonstrates their resilience. Planets seem permanent on human timescales, unchanging fixtures in the sky. But they're dynamic objects, subject to gravitational forces capable of dramatic change. A world can be destroyed, yet its matter continues rearranged into new forms. Nothing is truly lost, only transformed. The atoms that made up Earth's oceans, its mountains, its atmosphere, they still exist, just mixed now with Uranus's ices and gases, combined into new compounds arranged in new structures. If life existed elsewhere in the solar system, perhaps in the underground oceans of Europa or Enceladus, those life forms would know nothing of this change. Life on those distant moons would continue in its dark, cold waters, unaware that planets can collide, that worlds can merge, that the solar system above their icy shells has fundamentally changed. But if intelligence existed there, if beings looked up through their ice at the stars beyond, they would eventually notice a bright blue-green light where different lights used to be, a mystery in their sky, evidence that the universe is far stranger than any theory predicts. The light from the new planet will shine for billions of years, slowly changing as the planet evolves. The atmosphere will gradually settle, the storms will organize into stable patterns, the chemistry will reach equilibrium. Perhaps millennia from now, the planet will look different, its color shifted by changes in composition. But for now, for all of human memory and imagination, it glows with this particular blue-green, this mixture of Earth's legacy and Uranus's nature visible to anyone in the solar system with eyes or instruments to see. Let yourself see that light now in your mind's eye. A soft blue-green point against the black of space, steady and peaceful. It's distant but present, small but significant, alien but somehow familiar. The light has travelled through vacuum to reach you photons that bounced off clouds and ice, carrying information about a world that is simultaneously old and newborn. Let that light fill your vision, soft and comfortable, like a nightlight in a dark room. Let it be the last thing you see before closing your eyes, completely drifting on that blue-green glow into the final depths of sleep, where all transformations are peaceful and all light is gentle and all worlds rest together in the quiet dark. And now, as our journey through imagination comes to its close, let me remind you of something important, something comforting. Everything we've explored together tonight, this collision of worlds, this merger of ice and rock, this birth of a new planet, all of it exists only in the realm of dreams and wonder. It's a story told in the language of science, but it's a story nonetheless. A gentle fiction to carry you into sleep. In reality, Earth is exactly where it has always been. Right now, as you rest here, our planet orbits the Sun at a comfortable distance, the same path it has followed for over 4 billion years. The same orbit that allowed oceans to form, life to emerge, consciousness to develop. Earth spins at its familiar pace, bringing day and night in the rhythm you've known all your life. The moon rises and sets, pulling at the tides, reflecting sunlight onto nighttime landscapes. Everything is as it should be, stable and safe and endlessly reliable. Uranus too remains in its distant home. Far out at the edge of the planetary family, it rolls along its orbit in that peculiar sideways way, just as it always has. It catches faint sunlight on its turquoise clouds. It spins through its strange seasons, each lasting decades. Its moons orbit faithfully. Its rings, thin and dark, circle its equator. Uranus is there right now, in the cold darkness, billions of kilometers away, exactly where it belongs, where it will remain for billions of years to come. The collision we imagined will never happen. The laws of physics that govern orbital mechanics, the same laws that kept planets in their places for all of Earth's history, will continue to do so. The solar system is stable, ancient, settled into patterns that change only over timescales beyond human comprehension. You are safe. Your world is safe. The sky tomorrow will look the same as it did yesterday and the day before, stretching back through all of human history and forward through all the time to come. But wasn't it beautiful to imagine, to wonder, what if? To explore in our minds what happens when worlds meet. This is what imagination is for this safe exploration of impossible things. It allows us to understand our universe better, to appreciate the forces that shape planets to feel small, in the best way small, and part of something vast and ancient and ongoing. The story we shared tonight is a gift of curiosity wrapped in the language of sleep. The universe is indeed larger than we can truly comprehend. Billions of galaxies, each with billions of stars, many with their own planets. Distances so vast that light, the fastest thing that exists, takes billions of years to cross them. Time scales so long that entire stellar civilizations could rise and fall in what amounts to a cosmic moment. We exist in this incomprehensible vastness on our small blue world, conscious and curious and capable of imagining colliding planets. And yet, for all its size, the universe is not a frightening place. It's a place of beauty and pattern of physical laws that hold true across all distances and times. A place where gravity pulls gently and constantly, where light travels at its patient speed, where matter arranges itself into structures of remarkable complexity. From atoms to molecules, to planets to galaxies, all of it following rules, all of it connected, all of it part of one grand design that we're still learning to understand. You've traveled far tonight in the landscape of imagination. You watched Uranus leave its orbit and journey inward. You saw Earth sink through layers of alien atmosphere. You witnessed the merging of cores, the birth of a new world, the scattering of moons. You floated through exotic ices and thick atmospheres. You observed from the perspective of other planets. You felt the weight of pressure, the touch of cold, the glow of turquoise light. And through it all, you've been safe here, resting comfortably. Your body supported your breathing steady. Now it's time to let all of that fade. Let the images drift away like clouds dissolving in wind. Let the blue-green light dim to soft darkness. Let the pressure release the cold, warm, the strangeness become familiar again. You're returning now from that journey, coming back to simple rest, to the uncomplicated peace of sleep, without stories, without images, without thoughts. Just the gentle darkness behind your closed eyes. Feel your body one more time. Notice how heavy it is, how completely supported by the surface beneath you. Your shoulders have sunk deep into comfort. Your legs are motionless and relaxed. Your hands rest wherever they have settled, fingers curled slightly at peace. Your face has softened, the small muscles around your eyes and mouth completely loose. You're breathing slowly, automatically, each breath slightly deeper than the last, drawing you down. There's nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to remember. The story is over, and it was just a story, and now even the memory of it can fade. You're just here, just now, just breathing, just being. The universe continues its ancient dance planets in their orbits, stars shining in the dark, everything moving according to laws that require nothing from you. You can rest completely without responsibility, without thought. Outside, beyond your walls, the real Earth spins peacefully. Maybe it's night where you are, and the stars are out, the same stars humans have watched for thousands of years. Or maybe it's day, and somewhere the sun is shining on oceans, on forests, on mountains, on all the beautiful, familiar landscapes of our home world. Either way, everything continues steady and reliable while you rest here in comfort and safety. The moon is in its proper place, orbiting Earth as it has since it was formed from the debris of an ancient impact billions of years ago. It pulls at the tides, it reflects sunlight, it moves slowly across the sky. Tomorrow or the next day, you might look up and see it, that familiar companion, exactly where you expect it to be. And seeing it, you might remember this story, this imagination of collision. But the memory will be gentle, dreamlike, something that makes you smile. Let yourself smile now, just slightly as you drift deeper. A small smile of contentment, of peace, of gratitude for imagination and for reality both. For stories that let us explore impossible things, and for the actual world that holds us safely. For the adventure of wondering what if, and for the comfort of knowing what is. You have both now, and both are gifts, and both can exist together in the quiet space where you're resting. Your breathing is so slow now, so steady. Each exhale lasts a little longer, releasing not just air, but tension, thought awareness itself. You're dissolving into sleep, the way the story dissolved gradually, naturally, without effort. Sleep is welcoming you, and you're welcoming sleep, and the meeting is gentle and inevitable, like gravity, like orbital mechanics. Like all the patient forces of nature's sleep pulls you with constant gentle pressure. Good night, traveler through imagined space. Good night, dreamer of colliding worlds. Good night, consciousness fading into rest. May your actual dreams, if you have them, be peaceful and pleasant. May your sleep be deep and restorative. May you wake refreshed in a world that's exactly as it should be, stable and beautiful and home. And may you carry with you, somewhere in your resting mind, a sense of wonder at the universe and your place in it, safe and small and perfectly held. The story is complete. The journey is over. All that remains is sleep, pure and simple and sweet. Let it take you now. Let yourself go completely. Sink into the darkness that's comfortable and familiar. Drift on the tide of your own breathing. Float in the space between thoughts. And rest deeply. Rest in the peace that needs no story, no imagination, no effort. Just rest. Just sleep. Just this gentle, endless now, where everything is quiet and everything is well and everything dissolves into the soft, dark, perfect peace of deep, deep sleep. Good night.